420 anywhere in this country is when we begin. And there's some oddly specific reasons for that. But I'm going to take my time getting into them because I very much spent, probably the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours debating on whether or not I was actually going to stream. Despite the fact that it's a holiday and it's one of my regular streaming days, and I fucking wanted to and looked forward to it all day, and I had so many things that I actually wanted to say. But inevitably there were delays, and as much as I could pretend that it was some kind of technical difficulties, it fucking wasn't. So I can't imagine I'm gonna be doing tarot tonight, but I might. Um, I forgot we were gonna talk to some dead people. I quite frankly don't know if I can handle it. I don't know. Before I get too into anything, we're gonna have to roll the ads so I can get control over the capitalist timer. Um, and then we'll chat for a bit and talk about why my hair looks like a wig right now. Kind of kidding, but like for a second, it kind of did look like it wasn't really sitting on my head, didn't it? Imagine if you never saw me before and you're like, man, that's a terrible wig. And I had to tell you that's my hair. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and better than ever. And when I say better than ever, I mean equally as bad as I ever am when I'm this bad. As much as I just laughed, which probably makes you feel uncomfortable because you're like, is she what? Yes, to answer whatever question is in your head, just yes, we'll just say yes because you know what? There's a whole lot that I can, could, want to say. Um, there's not so much that I feel as willing to, if that makes sense. So I'm trying really hard right now to focus on what's in front of me, which is the stream. I'm not. I'm fucking absolutely not. I'm gonna catch everybody up on that front. Um, because this is as much as this is my tarot stream. When it comes to like all the other work that I do, um, like okay, so the writing, for example, the book that I'm working on right now is just it's mostly PMDD and how it's pushed me towards the spiritual path maybe, but really it's about my study and research of premenstrual dysphoric disorder, not tarot. Like we don't need another book on tarot. We need a book on why some female reproductive systems are effectively kamikaze. Maybe that's not the right word because it's not my language, but you know, um, and others aren't. You know, what makes a brain do that is it's lost on me. So this is what's happening right now. As you can see, where's my jewelry? It's all right fucking here. And, you know, the thing is, it's a lot, yes. But I love it. I love wearing it. I like, especially during my streams, especially if I'm walking or if I'm around other people, like, my jewelry is a protective element to me against any outside things. Plus, it's got a lot of my own energy absorbed into it, but also the gifts that have been brought upon me and where they come from. I love my jewelry. And I took it all off when I came home from work. I had a great day at work. It's 4:20. Who doesn't? What? And you know what I was thinking? This is my favorite part of the day. Listen, this cracks me the fuck up. Like, stoners, amazing. I'm one of us, right? Stoners, so fucking funny. So fucking lazy. They're like, we want a holiday. Okay, what's the holiday? 420. All right, you could have it. Nothing else going on that day, except for some things we didn't want to happen that day. So, what are you going to call it? They're like, what? A what? What? Okay, happy 420. That's it. It's not, we don't even call it Weed Day or Wismas or, like, there's no name. We can't even associate it with, like, Earth Day or springtime or plants or marijuana. Like, Marijuana Appreciation Day sounds super lame. And stoners were like, nope, 420 is good. 420 is good. That's good. Good enough. Stop right there. And like, the reason it cracked me up is because now the rest of the world is inevitably celebrating with us on that day every fucking year, every time anyone has to write or post the date for anything. We drove by a building with a digital marquee, you know, and it had the date and time. I was like, nice. And I just think that in itself is very beautiful. I think it's just beyond clever because it feels unintended. And the whole point is that in the early days or in its origins, it was supposed to be secretive, right? We couldn't just openly say we were smoking weed that day. But we just didn't update it at all. And we just still all call it 420. Everyone knows 420, 420, 420. So we've inevitably forced the entire world to celebrate with us. 420 everywhere, and we like it that way. And I love stoners, you know, fucking love that. That shit is premium hilarity to me. So I wanted to roll a joint, but I don't know. And like, I smoke. Okay, y'all probably remember when I first was streaming on here, I'd be smoking joints like every night, but it's because I wouldn't smoke at all except for those joints on stream, right? And if I smoked more than that, it's because I was in bed cramping up and I didn't ever have a schedule. I just stream when I wanted to or try to get a certain number of readings done in a week. So I wasn't on like a rigid schedule. So the reason that some of this stuff comes up more recently is because I used to just plan around it, and I used to just bail if I don't feel good and not really announce my streams or say when I would be back because I knew it would be inconsistent or random. So since pretty much since affiliating, I would say I stuck to a schedule because I've noticed that if I tell people I'm gonna be on at a certain it helps. It helps with Twitch. It does. To schedule it. It helps even more to schedule time, but that's beyond me because like tonight was, I planned to start this 3 hours, 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, and I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't. I had full face of makeup on today. I had my hair up. I had all my jewelry on, and it's gone. And then I sat here 420, and then I sat here for the last 2 hours after contemplating it for 2 hours and trying to get myself to this point. I sat here for 2 hours. Look, I got to stop crying. So you're like, how is it so much like this today and it wasn't yesterday? Well, let me answer that for you. Because yesterday was bicycle day, as we all know. And no, I did not take LSD. But I was regretting not taking LSD. I was like, man, it kind of sucks that I like cut off all my whatever. No, I don't even have any. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like my heyday was, I don't know, no attachments, right? Nice. It's been a really long time for me, some years, right? So, and I'm just not in a place to be doing it. Oh, the first time I did it, I was like 17, so I don't know if that, I don't know what, I don't know what that's supposed to mean to me. Yes, I'm a bad kid. What are you gonna do? So anyways, yesterday I was like, damn, I kind of wish, yeah, I guess I was kind of young, but I kind of wish that I had or was able to really, because I just am not in a position to fuck around to find out too much right now. Even though I've done it before, it's always different. You never know where you're gonna go, right? So instead, last minute decision for some really solid reasons. Kind of started as a joke, and I was like, I do have some Nutmeg in my fucking cupboard. Like, I got some Nutmeg in my cupboard. And listen, before I continue the story, I need y'all to know this is not something I recommend at all whatsoever. It is technically legal. They cannot tell you, like, oh, this spice that we put in our holiday food is illegal to consume too much of. Like, what if you did it by accident, Anyway, I don't recommend it. I've done it before. I did it twice in high school, and I loved it then, but I think I did a fuck ton more at the time, which I didn't. I just remembered. I misremembered. I thought whatever. I'm not going to get too into it. I'm not talking about administering it, but if you are going to go down that road, one, don't. Two, please know what you're doing. It can kill you. It can literally kill you. Okay? But I did it anyways. And let me tell you why. Yeah, bicycle day, sure. But while I contemplated on whether or not I should, because spiritually I was like, I really want to do something extra ceremonious today. More than just smoking weed, and not as intense as doing actual drugs. And I was talking to my best friend, and she just wanted to look up what the fuck I was talking about at all. She just searched, effects of nutmeg or something. Uses of, I don't know what she searched, nutmeg. And one of the first results she got was about nutmeg helping with physical and emotional symptoms of PMS, or like your period in general. And so that was the moment where I said, oh yeah, I'm doing this. So I ate like probably 4 grams of powdered nutmeg, bro. I put it in ice cream. You have no idea how fucking bad it tastes. Like, that's why it's don't even bother going down this road. Like, even if you put it in capsules, you feel it in your stomach for the rest of time. And it is painful. It is as painful as you'll read about. Here's the thing. Why would I tolerate that pain? Because I was gonna be in pain anyways. My period isn't supposed to start for another fucking week, but I get symptoms anywhere from like 7 to 12 days before. So this month I did start kind of getting symptoms like 12 days before, and then it slows down, and then that's what I'm saying. The nutmeg hurts, and the only reason I tolerate it is because my period hurts. Does that make sense? If you don't get a period, and if you don't get painful periods, you will not be able to handle nutmeg. I'll tell you what. That shit was like, it felt disgusting. It felt terrible. Like I'd get these waves of shivers and like the turning of the stomach, but you could feel like it's almost like you could feel the nutmeg in there, and it would come up like a scent. And I'm not talking in a trippy way. I'm talking in a very physical way, where like it's a lot if you go the powder route, right? So when I was in high school, I thought I just ate like 4 teaspoons, and a teaspoon is about a gram. That's why I was estimating that I ate about 4 grams, right? So I did like 4 light teaspoons, you know, because I thought, man, much more than that would kill you, but people were talking about doing 20 grams and stuff, so I'm like, okay, it's astronomical. So then I was like, damn, did I do like 4 tablespoons when I was in high school? Because I got pretty fucked up. I remember that shit. Like, I was fucked up. The way everything looked, the way everything felt, the way my body felt. Like, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I was out of my mind. Not really out of my mind, but like in a fun way. Like, out of my mind. Not like a out of my mind. But like, it was fun. It was like being stoned for like 3 whole days, to the point where the third day, I wrote in my notebook, my journal at the time. I was like, I think I will never come down. And then I woke up the next day. I was fine. It was like, all right, cool, cool thing. That was cool for me at the time, being like 16 or whatever. So this time, like yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever the fuck time zone you're in, I don't care. Bicycle day was 419. So I took the nutmeg, right? Yeah, that's not what we're talking about, but that's also not, like, I'm not trying to do that. Although I've come close, I guess. Yeah. Like, probably not 30 tabs. Well, yeah, not 30 tabs a day, but 30 tabs in 3 days. That's like, I've been close to that. Yeah, okay, fair. I'm glad that I just said that, what I said, and then you said what you said, and that was cute. Anyways. So, yes, bicycle day. I hate the nutmeg. Didn't really hit. It hit me pretty fast. It felt like the way you would if you're like coming up on something, but then it just didn't. And that was it. It was like that initial high. Plus, I like ate an edible and smoked weed like while I was ingesting the nutmeg, right? So it didn't fuck me up. Like I said, it was only 4 grams. That's probably how much you would sip in some eggnog. You ever wonder why eggnog fucks you up so much? Because it's not just alcohol, it's alcohol nutmeg. Yeah, you think I'm making this up? No, you've probably been fucked up on it too, and that's why the hangovers from nutmeg are so bad. Cause that shit stays in your system for days. You can feel the physical effects. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, it is probably, because it sounds so disgusting. Only an American would think of that, right? No, kind of getting the kind of ew. Yeah. Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's egg. It's nog. No, it's just like whipped eggs and cream and milk. I'm sorry, in alcohol, right? And then nutmeg. It's flavored with nutmeg. Probably clove and stuff too, but yeah. And I just remember growing up, people were like, "Oh, that eggnog will fuck you up, and eggnog's strong, blah blah blah." And it's like, right, you were feeling the hallucinogenic properties of the nutmeg, not just the fucking intensity of egged out alcohol. Like, come on. So everybody's always known Nostradamus. He was an avid user of nutmeg. Silly as fuck, I know. But yeah, it's not like, again, I'm not recommending it at all. It's not worth the fucking getting it down. It's not worth the feeling of it sitting in your stomach, and it's not worth the pain that ensues for the days after. But for me, yeah, it's silly, but I felt normal. Oh my god, I felt so normal the past 2 days. And I came down as well, I was slowly coming down from it. And like I said, I wasn't really high. I just smoked less weed the past couple days, and I like felt normal. I don't know how else to explain it. I felt fucking normal because the PMDD, it like balanced me out. As soon as I start coming down, though, I just can't stop crying. And if I'm not crying, then I'm raging fucking mad. So if I'm not raging fucking mad, then I need to be crying. And if I'm not fucking crying, then I'm raging fucking mad. But I don't want to be raging fucking mad, so I guess I'm fucking crying. And I'm still fucking crying because I don't want to be raging fucking mad, etc. Like, it's... So I'm back to, like, regular. This is how my night would have been going had I not... This is how the last 3 days of my life would have been going if I didn't eat the nutmeg. But I felt so normal. I felt so happy, too, because I just felt normal. Like, I'm a pretty happy person. Like, genuinely. I bring so much joy to myself, and I think to other people, but you wouldn't know it based on the way that they act, treat me, talk to me, or don't talk to me. But I'm pretty sure, you know. I know I'm a joyful person. Um, and I can make myself happy and make myself smile and have reasons to go on every time this happens and every month or whatever. And it's the nature of the disorder definitely makes it an isolating disease to have. I mean, I don't know anybody who deals with PMDD who isn't like a slight bit isolated from people or have issues in their relationships or off and on or whatever. Like, you know, I only know a few people in real life. I know a few people who have been diagnosed, and I'm like, you don't have PMDD, or you would be able to relate to me, and you can't relate to me, so you probably have PMS, and somebody called it PMDD, and you think it's the same thing. It's not. PMS is like physical symptoms, sometimes emotional symptoms a week before your period. PMDD is like that times 10 for 2 weeks before your period, and then a slew of other opposing symptoms for the other 2 weeks, right? Yes, it's even more exhausting than it sounds to answer that question. I understand why people in my life are exhausted of me, with me, and just generally tired, but I don't know what they think I'm going to do. I don't know what y'all want me to do. You hate cry. You hate when people cry. Adults aren't supposed to cry. You cry too much. You cry about everything. You're too sensitive. Blah blah blah. All right, let me not fucking cry. Now all of a sudden I'm scary, huh? Now all of a sudden, oh, why are you so mad? Well, because I told you I have an uncontrollable rage pumping inside of me for 7 to 12 days a month, every fucking month, like fucking clockwork. And if I don't cry it out, I'll take it out on something physically. For example, I had these back clips in my hair, hence why my hair is down, even though it's like not a good hair day. And while I was crying before I started the stream, I laid on one of them. It broke. Listen, I got a pack of 4 of these. There was only 2 left. They all broke. It is as simple as the clip coming off of the bat. All I gotta do is glue it back on. It's hardly a big deal. I didn't even fix the other ones. Just left them as bats. So, like, why did I cry about that? That's a good question. Why did I try to fucking flip my desk every time I looked at the one that's not broken? Yeah, I'm gonna cry about it instead. I'm gonna cry about it. So every time I picked up my jewelry to put it on, I started fucking sobbing. Every time I thought about just looking at my makeup, started sobbing. So I hit the bong a little bit. I'm grinding up more weed right now because I'm back to my regular defenses of like I just have to smoke so much weed that I'm sedated. Or I can't get through doing anything. Not even a stream in the comfort of my own home. Not even getting ready for a stream in the comfort of my own home. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Pick fights with everybody you know? Sometimes I do that, yeah. But sometimes they have it coming. It's like, once again, y'all get so fed up with me having this disability. But what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Suffer in silence? That leads to suicide attempts. Oh, and now you're fucking upset that I tried suicide and you can't fathom why I would do that. So then I, in detail, explain exactly why I did that and exactly every single step that everyone around me took that eventually led me to just going off on my own and being off on my own, being unsupervised for a little too long. I'm like, you know what? I would never have to do this again if I simply was not alive. It's only happened a couple times somehow. But, you know, and it's just constantly my problem, which I understand. So I'm constantly trying new ways to fix it. And one of the ways that I'm finding to be effective based on one trial experience is some very dangerous, lethal, and disgusting, but simple solution that would put other people in so much pain that they would never do it again. And I thought about doing it the fucking moment I came down. We can all let it sink in. We're all gonna let that one sink in. We're gonna let that sink in for a second. So it's not my goal to cry on. It's my goal to just avoid crying while I'm streaming right now. But you'll notice I'm gonna smoke a whole bunch of fucking weed. And if you've been paying attention or you've been watching the streams, you'll notice that for the past like a week, maybe even two, I haven't really been smoking much. There were nights I said, I'm gonna force myself to smoke recreationally just so I can fucking smoke with y'all. But right now, I wasn't even about to show up. I wasn't even gonna show up. And yeah. It's very questionable, my capacity for hurt, right? Because my feelings might be really hurt by something in the moment. And then like it could be hours later, days later, weeks later, a couple cycles later, I'll be like, yeah, I don't care about that as much as I thought I did. Or I'll be like, oh, well, I still care about that. That's impressive. You know? It's like, I don't know. It's a surprise. What do I actually care about versus what does my brain convince itself that we care about? I hate it here. Yeah, no, I'm gonna start crying. I need to get this bowl packed immediately because I'm gonna start crying again. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, so I used to just not stream when I was like this. But now I'm trying to stick to my schedule. I'm trying to stick to the schedule so I show up on bad days. Because if I was working in a restaurant like I always have, if I was working in a retail store like I always did, then I would not be able to call off 3 to 6 days a month every fucking month that I felt like this. So I'd have to show up. No wonder I don't have I have a lot of jobs. My job history, duh. You're making me show up when everything's making me so mad that I will break my own stuff so I don't break your fucking face. Whose face? Doesn't matter. Don't look at me. You looked at me, boom, you're done. What? What just happened? I don't know. Rage courses through my body for like 6 to 12 days at a time. And it's as terrifying for me as it is for everyone else. And so I am being more honest and open about it because I'm really sick of people acting like they can write off everything that I do because I'm crazy or they can compare me to schizophrenics. I'm kind of joking. I know you didn't mean it like that, Tom. Or they can just write off all the work that I do as somehow invalid, inaccurate, or just not as good as someone else, or just doesn't deserve the time of day because I'm crazy. I'm quite sick of it, to be honest. Because really, I'm hormonal. And guess what, buddy? It's testosterone. It's testosterone. So, don't know what y'all want. Not really you as in my Twitch followers, but the random people in my life who will click on here and watch bits and pieces of it and not admit it, not follow me, not tell me, and then turn around and want to fucking gossip, talk shit, blah, blah, blah. And I won't say gossip. Because here's the thing. Gossip is a very healthy and important, integral part of any solid community. What y'all do is talking shit. Okay? Here's a little anecdote for you, right? And this is the same reason that I say that you should judge. Because how else are you going to put up effective boundaries that suit your needs and protect you from other people's doings if you cannot make a judgment call on who that person is that you're setting the boundary with? You have to be judgmental. You're supposed to be judgmental, right? Like, don't let people gaslight you into thinking you should never have an opinion about anyone or anything. That is how complacency gets as out of control as it does. And that's exactly where the rhetoric like silence is violence and history repeats itself comes from. is the refusal to judge, the refusal to talk about it, the refusal to hear people out. That is the problem. You are a problem. Okay? If you, right? And I didn't mean, listen, I didn't really mean anything by that. It's funny. If you, hear me out, if you are talking to a friend, and that friend says, hey, I noticed our other mutual friend is acting kind of weird towards me. And you say, well, that's my friend. I'm not down to talk shit because that's my friend. Huh. That's funny. Your friend was being shitty to me, and you also consider me your friend. So if I'm bringing up an issue I have with someone that you know better than I do, it's because I am wondering if this is part of their personality, personal to me, or even worth knowing them. Now I don't want to know either one of you because you can't even have a discussion. Why? What's up? What did they do? Are you okay? None of that. Just, I'm not down to talk shit. First of all, this isn't talking shit. Because if it was talking shit, the approach would be, I don't fucking like your friend. They're a piece of shit. They're stuck up. I hate them. Instead of, hey, your friend was kind of treating me funny. Your friend was acting weird around me. But it's not talking shit. Grow up. Okay? Repeating what someone says to you isn't even gossip because it's your own fucking experience. And gossip usually involves a third party, right? So, once again. But you can have unhealthy communities because here's what happens. If you can't take feedback from a friend about a friend on a very unevasive, unassuming level, the most basic level of, hey, they were kind of weird around me. Is everything okay? What's going on with them before I approach this or confront this because I don't know if it's worth starting the drama. You might know more than me, whatever. They shut that down? Okay. So what happens when you come to them and you say, wow, I don't know how I feel about this place because I saw so many people there that are not good people. And you say, well, I love that place, and if you don't like it, then don't go there. That's fine. That is a solution. Removing myself from the space is a solution. However, if you're talking about a bar full of predators, and you try to voice this to someone, hey, this bar is full of fucking predators, well, you shouldn't come here anymore then, because I love this bar. You're probably talking to a predator. Like, let's just get that out of the way, right? Like, if they can't see that as a problem, or like, they're like, oh, I know, we've been working on it, or yeah, I just try to ignore it, or these are good people to know, right? And they're just like, I don't want to hear it because it's my favorite bar. It's a red flag. Okay. So what happens when? Keep following, keep following. Yes, there is a greater point to this. There is always a point. Keep following. So let's say, well, hey, you know so-and-so? Oh yeah, I know them forever, yeah. Well, they assaulted me. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to pick sides. I just don't think they could do that. They've always been nice to me. You hear how it sounds when you take it out of context? Because you don't want to talk shit? You've become an unsupportive, unsafe place for a lot of people by doing that. And you may save face, but you don't hold space. Yeah? Because if none of us are ever allowed to voice our concerns or ever allowed to voice our opinions, no matter how valid they are, then nothing will ever change. And that is how history ends up repeating itself. That is how silence becomes violence. That is generally the complacency that leads to uprisings of not the people, not the revolution, but authoritative governments. And y'all don't see how it's connected. But then y'all want to say everything's connected. Okay. And then I see these things play out for me in a personal way, on a personal level, in the micro sense of things, right? Okay. So what's that mean? That I need to change things? Sure. Or that I need to keep moving? Sure. Or that I need to go harder, that I need to say more, that I need to be smarter, that I need to keep the boundaries firm. Good evening. It's not. That's why the stream is dead, because I've just been crying the whole time. Not like actual crying, but a little bit. I like want to cry, but I'm not crying. Like that's how it's going. So, just your regular. This is just my life. It's just like this, folks. Anyways, so when you avoid those conversations because you have already picked a side, because the other person's more popular, more relevant, more connected, so you just trust that person that you refuse to talk shit about, no matter what they do, because you won't even hear it out. Once again, you've become an unsafe, unsupportive person, and you are nobody's friend. Because if you were really a friend to the person you defend, then you would want to hold them up and hold them accountable. You'd want what's best for their growth. And if you want to be in denial of their actions, or be in denial of what they've done and said to other people because you don't want to get involved, then you've already picked a side, and it's the side of the perpetrator, right? Okay. Loud and fucking clear, y'all. Loud and motherfucking clear. And that's okay. Everybody's going to make their choice. Everybody's got their beds to lie in. And something I'm noticing over time, I think, some people see the good in people. And I know people can be good, and I think in the general sense, I see good in humanity overall, almost more than I see good in the individual. Because what I once perceived as good was someone who never had anything bad to say. But now I realize that's just a people-pleasing asshole who keeps it all to themselves, complains on the inside, and just lies to your face. That's not a good person. That's not a definition of a good person. And anybody who really wouldn't correct someone and just say, oh, well, thank you, probably not that great either. If you never question whether or not you're a good person, there's a good chance that you're not. Like, I'll be honest about that. Like, if you never question whether or not you're a good person, you're probably not. Because here's the thing, no one is ultimately wholly good or wholly bad. Holy as in totally, not holy as in Jesus holy. No one's fully either one. So if you just unfailingly assume that you're a good person, you have little objectivity about your own actions. If you know that you're mostly a good person, generally a good person, try to be a good person, that's a lot different than just saying, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. Are you? Who are you convincing here? Because it ain't me. Oh, yikes. What's all the flavor about? It's probably about my premenstrual dysphoria, but it could be about whatever you want it to be about, whatever you need it to be about. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of these things. So I'm just rapping it to you. I'm just going off on little tangents here. We ain't even cracked into tarot, and I don't know if I got it in me because I've been crying too much. I've already wasted so much of my energy on tears. I'm starting to get a back. Joey-o. Thanks for the follow. I hope you heard the part where I said I'm not even doing tarot right now before you inevitably try to ask me, is there a list? I'm kidding. I don't even know you, Joey-o. You're fine. I'm not gonna... Dude, something's going on with this mic, and I don't know what it is. I'm glad you noticed, and I'm glad you said something. I'm guessing this is better, but this mic used to pick up sound from all the way the fuck back here. No fucking problem. What have I done? I don't know. Thought maybe I had it hooked up to the wrong mic. That wasn't it. Do microphones just degrade over time? How's this? I have nails, so it's like ASMR. How's this? ASMR. No? Sorry. Why would I increase the volume on my speaker? I don't get it. What? Oh. Like, I get it now. I mean, that's just the headphone volume. I don't adjust the mic at all. I don't know. It might be the cord it's connected to. It could be so many things. I don't know what it is. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad that you're going to therapy, right? I sure as fuck am not, because I went 10 grand into debt trying to talk to a therapist who tried to fucking just ignore everything that was going on with me. I literally was like, I'm pretty sure I have PMDD. I have like 5 years of research to prove that I do. And she's like, I believe you. And then a week later, she's like, I think you might be bipolar. And I'm like, that is so... You should win the Oscar. You should win the Oscar. Yeah, no, I'm over that scene for right now. I'm sure someday I'll find a good one again, but yeah, fuck no. There's really nothing worse than somebody literally looking you in the face and saying, I believe you, and then turning around and saying, actually, I don't. It's a horrible fucking feeling. It is a very horrible feeling. Especially when your life depends upon what they think, you know? It's like you didn't listen to me at all for 2 years straight. If the first session you said, I don't think you're bipolar. And then sessions 1 through 100, I said, I have PMDD. And you'll notice week to week how my mood changes. And I would explain each session. This week, I'm ovulating. So I'm feeling a little more manic. And you notice I'm a little more sporadic, a little more chatty, less emotional. But next week, I'll be really depressed. And I want to talk about blah, 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 blah. And I'll go through this every session. Oh, I'm at this point in my phase, in my cycle, this point in my cycle. She said, yeah, I believe you. And then the last session we ever had, which this was just last year, you know, she said, I think you're bipolar. Where did we just go why did I go into debt for this? And if you are curious as to how or why I went into debt for my therapy sessions, let me tell you, I have health insurance. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty free. It's not state insurance, though. I have both, but I guess, so it wasn't like my network, right, which I agree was a mistake, but it was a recommendation, and at the time, I trusted the person who recommended them to me, even if I don't anymore, which, hindsight, truly 2020, isn't it? So, the damnedest thing, the funniest thing, is, I don't know how much therapy is or why, you know, it's one person. It's an hour of your time. The place I went was charging $300 an hour. And you're not even going to another dimension? You can't even prove to me that you're well adjusted? You don't even tell me anything about your personal life and think that I'm going to get that person with you and give you $300 to not know anything about you and to see no results? You don't write anything down. You don't send me notes. You don't make a plan. You don't help me with my working functional life. You don't help me pay my bills. You don't help me figure anything out. And you want $300 for what? What did we just do? I can talk to my friends about this and read the fucking DSM if I need to. What is this $300 for? Because you went to school? Okay, I think $100 an hour sounds good, doesn't it? What is $300? It's 1 hour. What? So my insurance covered half. In case you were wondering, I still cannot afford a $150 therapy session once a week. Just in case you were wondering. I paid them $10, I think, the whole time I went. Mostly because for the first 6 months, they told me, you're all set. You don't owe anything. every time I went to my sessions. You're all set. You don't owe anything. For 6 fucking months. For 6 months. And then, after those 6 months, maybe it was 6 sessions, not 6 months. Which 6 sessions was still 2 months. You miss 1 week, and it's like, hi. So in 2 months, they've never once sent me an invoice, never once told me I owed them money. Maybe it was 4. I feel like it was 2 billing cycles. They just like disregarded. And then they sent me a bill for hundreds of dollars, $600, $900, after telling me I didn't owe them anything, week after week after week after week. And they're like, oh, insurance just dropped half only, so you owe us the other half in bulk right now. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have free insurance. You should have known if you've taken it. You should know how much they cover. Why would it be any different for me than anyone else who has this particular insurance? Why would you need to wait and see how much is going to be covered unless you were changing the total cost based on who the person was? Riddle me that, please. Riddle it to me. So they just kept doing that. Oh, you don't know anything, you don't know anything. And then they sent a bill 6 months in. $2,000. I don't have that. I don't know where my therapist also knows I don't have that. I would tell her every session, I haven't paid anything for this. She didn't stop seeing me. She didn't advise me to make better financial decisions or recommend me to a therapist within my network. But once you get 6 months in with a therapist, it's really hard to stop, because it's like, well, now I'm halfway through telling you my story. I'm halfway through this EMDR program. But you've done more damage than help. And I am sorry, this is the very scenario I've encountered with so many fucking doctors, and it turns out therapists are just no different. That I'm so jaded and so spent in the medical field that I don't care what brand of medicine it is. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I cannot believe how many vile people I've attracted in my life, other than knowing I've done vile things. But to what end do I make up for it? And when do I get to be forgiven? And when do I get to move on? And when do I get to not be punished month after month after month for something that is out of my control? And everyone's like, it's not out of your control. You have the power. Change your mindset. You think I don't... What do you think I do, Verlin? No one's ever understood it. No one's ever going to understand it. And we all just suffer together. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of us suffering together saying, haha, what the fuck is this? Why is this happening? And all of us saying, I don't know. I want it to stop. Seriously, even if you don't have PMDD, highly recommend checking out the PMDD Reddit. Is public. The Facebook group, I think, is private. You have to get it approved for. But I'm pretty sure the PMDD research group is public, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so you should check out some of the war stories. You should check it out, and you should see how much it aligns with what I'm saying right now, and how much I'm not saying right now in regards to that whole situation. So, that's it. That's all I needed to get out there, I think. Jesus fuck, man. It's a lot. I mean, it takes time because it's a lot. And it's like, I could sit here and pretend it's not happening. I could sit here and make it totally obvious that I was crying all day and that I'm not wearing makeup and that my nose is red. Or I could just tell you what's going on. Because I'm kind of sick of having to act like my life is all peachy fucking keen just because I am able to do what I want and what I like. And so people look at me with envy. For what are you envious? Without my suffering, I would never have had these gifts. And I promise you, you would not endure one cycle of what we go through. You would not endure one fucking cycle of what we go through. And I'm not talking about everybody with a period. I'm not talking about women everywhere. I'm not. I'm not. I'm talking about a very specific brand of people who suffer from this fucking debilitating disease that nobody gives a fuck about. Nobody knows how to treat. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody sympathizes with. That is what I'm talking about. Hundreds of thousands of people, month after month. Why is this happening to me? What can I do? What have you tried? And you know the answers? Different every fucking time. Because one person will say, SSRIs changed my life. And the next person will say, SSRIs wore off after 3 months. And the next person will say, I got a full hysterectomy. I've never felt better. And the next person will say, the full hysterectomy did nothing. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What does any of us do? I've been on birth control forever. So when I stopped taking it, I became insane. Okay. I took birth control, but it didn't make a difference, so I stopped taking it. Any other recommendations? Okay. Personally, when I took birth control, I cried every day, and I cry enough as it is. I cry like half the days. I don't need to cry all of the days. Jesus fuck, man. I don't have it in me. You know how dehydrated it is to cry? I cannot drink water as fast as I can shoot it out of my eyeballs. I didn't even put chapstick on. Or how dehydrated I was before I started this stream. Like, it's bad. Okay, anything with control in the name is really gonna piss me off. Y'all complain about gun control, but expect us to all just take birth control? You're fucking... Bro, I'm sorry. It's very hard to forgive women. Yes, women. Women. And I am mostly talking about cis women. And I'm pretty much only talking about straight women. But it's hard to forgive them. Because y'all were complicit to this all this time. All this time. You know? And like, I can honestly count myself out of that because I tried it when I was 17. I said never again. Tried antipsychotics. I said never again. None of it helped. But since y'all, oh, it helps me. Everybody should do it. I don't know why you complain. You should just blah, 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 blah. Well, I really need this dude to nut inside me. So the fuck is wrong with you? The male reaction to gun control should have been the female reaction to birth control, especially when vasectomies were always an option. Yeah, like, come on. Come on. It's pathetic. It is pathetic the way that they have bent over and just taken it. And now want to say, oh no, how could this happen? Huh? You're not really asking that, are you? You're not really asking that. You're not really surprised right now, no. You're not, right? Because then you also want to criticize women like me. Well, you're just jealous because you can't hold a man. Listen, baby, I know exactly how to hold a man. What in the goddamn ever-loving fuck makes you believe that that's what I'd want? Listen, oh, well, you don't have any relationship experience. Yeah, because I decided to abstain from relationships. Not because I don't know how to be in one, but because I have a backbone and I've never been afraid to leave them. Like, what the fuck? Man. And then people are like, it's not that deep. Then what is it? Then how do you explain it? Then how do you propose we fix it? Then how do you suggest would make more sense? Because those same women turn around and tell me that my period can't be that bad. And then there's this either, oh yeah, it's pretty painful for me too, or I don't even get pain at all. I don't even feel symptoms. I don't even get a period. I don't even... Okay, if you're going to be a pick-me, go to a fucking parking lot. Okay? Let them pick you there. Nobody needs that. You just trying to gaslight other women into thinking that what they experience isn't real because you also don't experience it. You want to turn around and whisper about how she's faking it and she's fucking exaggerating and blah, 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 blah. And you don't see how we got ourselves into a position where Roe v. Wade got turned down. Wow, isn't that funny? Y'all decided to gamble on the men and not the feminists. On that note, we're going to take the ad break a little bit early. We've got 8 minutes, but I'm going to roll them now. So I will be back in 3 minutes. The bowl is packed. I know it took me 55 minutes to pack it, but it was a beautiful process. It was a beautiful process. And I don't like speaking so angrily, especially if I'm doing something ceremonious, like grinding and packing and smoking weed. But what I'm loving about this energy this evening, right, is that it's raw, it's a bit vulgar, and there's some anger. There's very little hatred. It may sound hateful, but let me tell you, when I'm being hateful or when I'm full of hatred, it sounds way different than me analyzing and gratifying some of these topics of interest, right? Like, I promise you, I get way more hateful. And that's not a promise that I want to keep. It's a promise of I know these things. So, on with it. I'll be back in 3 minutes. I did not snack. I sat here, depressingly, doing nothing, but not crying, so that's just as well, you know? Um, and like sometimes there's stuff that triggers my emotions, and sometimes um, it's like nothing. Like nothing has to happen. Like I think it said this the other day. Well, maybe I just posted it on my story and not said it on stream, but like I was in the shower and the water got cold and I like literally felt like Like I hated someone because of the water. Like it's happened before. It's not a big deal. If you run out of hot water in the shower, you just shower faster or deal with cold water. But like the other day, it was just like, no, this is fucked up. I fucking hate this. It's terrible. I'm never warm. Blah. Like, so the nutmeg was pretty helpful. Maybe bleed though, which I'm like, fuck, dude. Bleed for my period. Bleed. Spot the days before my period. Bleed during my period. Spot the days after my period. Then there's no blood for a few days. Then I start ovulating, which means I start bleeding again most of the time, not all of the time. I think it's only one of my, right? One of my ovaries. Like the way it works, your ovaries grow cysts around them, right? So if a woman or anyone with a womb, I don't really gender it too much. I was talking about women earlier because, like, classically in history, it's cishet couples that like have controlled what happens in the modern world for the past like 100, 200 years, right? Like the nuclear family to like, even being in the West, if you were like a single woman, you had to go work in a fucking saloon outside of town for the rest of your life or whatever. But, yeah, so I don't just think of all women as all the people with periods or all people with periods as all women. So anybody with a fucking uterus, anybody with a womb carrier, grow these cysts, right, over their ovaries. So if somebody tells you, oh, I have cysts in my uterus, well, yes, you're supposed to. We all do. The issue comes with what happens with the cysts. For example, if you have PCOS, right, that's an abnormal amount of cysts, like an excessive amount of cysts, right? Exactly. Oh, there you go. And then endo is when they don't rupture at all, right? And they just keep growing, or I don't even know. So, like, for me, I think it's simply just because my pain tolerance is like so high. Yeah. That when I go and talk to a doctor, an OBGYN, and I'm like, it's not that bad, I think I'm underselling my own pain because sometimes ovulation, I do feel it, and it is like, you know, right. It's crazy, but we all get them. So for me, like you were saying, your cysts rupture wrong or whatever. Yeah, I know, dude, it's bad, but I'm like, it's not, this feeling is not as bad as my periods are. And they're like, how bad are your periods? And I'm like, well, got nothing to compare it to, do I? They're the same every month. I don't know what a normal is supposed to feel like, so how would I know? So I've never been diagnosed with endo or anything, but one of the only doctors my whole life I ever trusted, which was a male gynecologist, by the way. I'm not just gonna sit here and hate on any man who decides to dedicate his life to women's health unless he's like objectively a creep. This guy was like, yo, my mother died of what is it called? Ovarian cancer. My sister got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. It runs in my family. I have a daughter. I want to help. And I was like, that's my man. Not my man, he's married, but that's my doctor. So don't just write off, you know what I mean? Because I've had female gynos who, when I was 16 years old at my first gynecology appointment, maybe 17. So at that point, I was with my boyfriend at the time. So 17 years old. First gynecology appointment. She asks me, how many sexual partners have you had? I said, 3? Maybe 4? I think it was probably 4. And she goes, are you sure about that? Yeah. I'm fucking 17. You think I wouldn't remember, you old ass bitch? Like, what the fuck? LOL. Right, because it's like I broke 16 of my bones, had a finger split open, got 35 staples in my head, and I told them I couldn't feel it. So, like, what does it mean? It also depends on where I'm at and what the pain is. That's what I was telling y'all before, where I've just fucking whacked my head on the corner of a wooden desk. You know how bad that point hurts? And I just kept walking. And I'll just say ow, so people know that something happened, but I won't feel it. So it's just oops. It's more oops than ow. But then the next week, it's like, oh my god, my shirt brushed on my skin, and now I can't wear this shirt or my skin. Like, crazy. So when I saw like the only male gyno and the only gyno I've ever liked and one of the only doctors I've ever trusted, he said, yo, he's the one who taught me about my uterus. Not that stupid bitch who fucking gave me my first gyno appointment at 17 years old who wanted to slut shame me and try to convince me that because of the way my vagina looked that I had sex with more people than I actually did. Thank you so much, you fucking cunt. Do you have one or not? Do you have one or not? You really think that's how this works still? I was 17 years old and in a relationship. And I was honest with her about my body count. And she asked me if I was sure. Okay, it's a fucking geranium. You want to go look at it? Like, what? Oh, that is why we're here. So why are you looking at it if you're going to judge me? What the fuck? LOL. Well, my number is way higher than that now, but I was 17 at the time. It's crazy she would fucking say that to somebody. Yeah, that's pretty much this astral levels. That's where the alien theory comes in. Or I'm sorry, we're not using it. That's where the extraterrestrial theory comes in. I'm like, this is some weird form of abduction for them to experiment on our bodies that they use as hosts for their breeds of hybrid between extraterrestrial and human DNA, obviously. And they get incubated so much faster that they only need us for a few days. But it's such an intense procedure. It's a lot of blood. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot that they got to make up for. That's what the book's been about. But if I don't hurry up and say these things and get it out there, then I'm going to miss out on being the one to say it. And it hurts because it's hard when I literally don't function. I only function half of the month. And it's like, I don't know like what anybody expects me to do because my business isn't doing well enough to not work a job. So I work a job that's relevant to my business, but it's like still like that just means I'm working all the time. And between, that and this, where do I find time to write? Where do I find time to schedule my content? Where do I find time to keep doing photo shoots or even advertise that I do that? Like, oh my God. Because of the pain and because of the blood. So this is what this doctor was telling me, the man. You see, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. The woman I went to, granted, if it was 15 years ago, then she might be a boomer. If she was like 30 or 40, 15 years ago, then she's almost at that age, but she's more Gen X. Definitely she was not a millennial, but like she was considerably young at the time that I went. Like she could not have really been much older than 40, I don't think. And it should be that rude to a teenage girl. Like, literally, what? Are you jealous that I get laid? Like, what is this? You're literally criticizing the way my vagina looks and questioning how many people I've slept with because of it? Like, that's insane. That's insane. That's insane. Fuck the AI healthcare online bullshit. How can I help? Is no better. Literally no better. I'm so sick of it. I'm so motherfucking tired. So anyway, male doctor. Best gyno ever, best doctor ever. He is the one who told me at 20 fucking 5. 20 fucking 5. Granted, I did go to Catholic school. I missed out on like the middle school stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was a real light, when you're older, when you're married type of conversation. I was very always shut down and awkward 111 about stuff like that. Because in high school health class, like the Miracle of Life section, where they make you watch a live birth, I slept through. I was like, fuck no, I'm not, no. Most likely because I was already going through so much pain, and at the time I was probably fucking bleeding so bad. You know, like having all the same symptoms I do now without knowing why. All the time. Because it's a thing. It's like I could be really smart and I can test into a class and I was put in like a higher math than above my grade, right? Okay, so I'm really good at this for half the month, and then all of a sudden, boom, brain frogs. Boom, can't think. Everything's a distraction. I can't focus. Everything is agitating. I can barely see. Suddenly, I don't wear glasses anymore. Like, everything changes. And one bad test during those 2 bad weeks, which can happen every month at any given time, like, that can destroy a life. It did. It made it impossible to get good grades. It made it impossible to hold a job. It made it impossible to keep friends. It made it impossible to even want a relationship. It's not that I couldn't get a relationship and continue a relationship, but it just, a big part of me didn't want to. Because I don't like people so much. Sometimes. Literally. Like, to the level where I was like, I'm just better off on my own. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm lonely, or I'm horny, or just longing, pining, loving, want to fall in love. And then the 2-week cycle was over and it'd be back to like, ugh, oh God, what was I thinking? I don't like you, blah, blah, blah. So it's effectively ruined my life in every possible capacity that you could think of or list off the top of your head. Easily. Like, kind of like, certainly, undoubtedly. It's very sad. It's crazy to think about. Especially because I did not even ever hear about PMDD until 2019, summer of 2019, spring of 2019. I've been doing this since like 2004. This sadness is beyond measure. That is something you will never be able to fathom, because if it didn't already happen to you, then it never will. So if you're my age and you've not experienced PMDD, then you'll never know what it's like to lose half your life to something, because you already already did it. And like, for me, I never had a choice. It was always like, I never had the alternative, because I couldn't keep it. What are you gonna do? My brain shuts down. I get so mad. I can't like hold it together or help myself from crying. So a lot of times my solution, being a high schooler, I'd sleep. I'd go to sleep. I couldn't do anything else. I'd get high before class sometimes. Not all the time. I was not that bad. But yeah, of course I got into drugs and stuff because I was miserable. You know, going through the same cycle that I still go through now, that's still, even in the year 2023, when you can have a fucking computer bot come up with an entire TV show, but you can't figure out what's wrong with me or how to fix it. I would take the lobotomy if I thought it would help. I used to want a lobotomy. So it's like the feeling in my head, it's like a physical, like, oh my God, smash it, smash it, smash it, smash it, smash it. Not smash my skull in? Fine. I will smash this. I will smash that. I will, don't care. Must smash. It's hard. And I know that most days I make it look fun and easy, but, or even make jokes to the point where it actually seems funny. But it's fucking not. And the paranoia is real. And oh my God, what do you want? I mean, what? Number 3, if I have to be specific, I'm not saying anybody's names on here, but what do you want? I'm just trying my damnedest, trying my hardest, and then, oh, don't try so hard. You just gotta go with it. You just gotta lean. I can't. Because actually, for a solid decade, I was so in my spiritual path and so unaware of my actual condition that I accepted just going with it and not trying so hard. Like, okay. And that leads me to being like beyond measure levels of distraction. Like, I have to try extremely hard to keep this bitch at bay. Bitch being a severe understatement. This absolute degenerate of a monster that bursts from within. Needs to be kept at bay, and it takes all the effort I have. Some days. A lot of days. I'm not gonna say most days. But here's the good news. The nutmeg kind of worked. So now, part of the reason that I got so detailed about all of that, if anybody was even here from the start to the now, is that the nutmeg, simple, nasty, difficult solution, and yet seemingly a solution. If I just continue the cocktail, like some people say magnesium really helps, or, getting the extra iron, having a lot of protein, maybe not eating at all. I always found starvation to be a good method because it was like, yo, if I just don't eat, I won't have the energy or the ability or the sustenance to cry or get mad or throw anything. So, like, that works, right? And it's like, well, now you're in the hospital because that's considered a suicide attempt. I'm like, you're joking. You're kidding me. I didn't want to not eat. I, like, just can't do it. I'm like, I can't bring myself to do it sometimes, right? Like, that worked for a while. It would curb my symptoms. It would make my thoughts a little weird because starvation will do that to you, but it was sure as fuck beat the other symptoms, I'll tell you that much. Like for real. Like, really, really real. For really, really real. Yeah, so if I just keep taking the concoction of these things, then I'm hoping, I don't know that there's ever going to be a cure, right? Like, they kind of made that pretty obvious. I don't think there's ever going to be a cure. I packed this bowl all nice, but then I realized that I was grinding some hash up in my grinder, but there's weed in it, so now I'm like, I want the hash bowl for 420 celebration, even though it's like way past the 20th at this point. But there was weed in here, so now there's no room. I gotta just restart. So if I just stick to my regiment of smoking weed, taking magnesium, eating nutmeg once in a while, I should be okay for the most part, on some level, some of the time. That's just the reality of my life. That's it. That's all I got. That's where I'm at. And people don't get it, I think. Or if they get it, they, like, don't care, or they look away because they don't want to admit how terrible they've treated someone with a goddamn disability, right? Like, they don't want to have to admit to themselves that they made fun of someone who's literally slow. Like, they don't want to have to admit that I'm not fucking crazy or bipolar or schizophrenic or psychotic or any of the horrible things that they said, but rather premenstrually dysphoric. No one wants to admit that. So even though I've had to say, yep, I'm the monster you speak of, and I admit I did those things, and I know I have to work on myself, and I have made a lot of progress, but at the end of the day, I know it's not enough. But everyone else is still gonna tell you that I'm fucking crazy. They're gonna tell you I'm out of my mind, I'm unpredictable, I'm out of control. And that, my dear friends, is a bold-faced lie. I'm on a fucking schedule and a strict diet. There ain't nothing unpredictable about it. It's clockwork. It's clockwork. That's like saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's 6 p.m. Sure, to some degree, if you're not looking at the time, and the last time you looked at the clock, it was noon, and you look at the clock again and it's 6, and you say, oh, I can't believe it. Sure. But if you were to say, there's no way that it's 6 p.m. I saw the clock, and it was noon. There's no way it's 6 p.m. Someone changed the clocks. A little bit different than, wow, can't believe it. Don't you agree? Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. It is a pretty good one. Yeah. So you can see how much patience and grace I exercise when I'm not like this because I get like this. It's so hard. It's just my cross to bear, my pain to suffer. Because we can't even help each other. none of us have friends, and we're not even friends with one another because we know. It's like, well, I can't have two of those in my life. It's sad, but it's true. So I was gonna do a fun reading. I was gonna come on here at midnight like I always do and smoke weed and celebrate and talk about Bob Marley and all day I really thought I could, and that's the worst fucking part. Is all day I thought I could and would and was fine, and oh God, as soon as it wears off, it's back. Like no matter what wears off, it comes back. Whether it's the nutmeg, the SSRIs, the hysterectomy can wear off. Fuck me. Crazy. And that's all anybody ever has anything to say about me. So, yeah, it fucking hurts. Yeah, I'm fucking hurt. Yes, I'm tore up like this every month after month after month. Yes, and I hit it for 20 fucking literal years. I was quiet about this for 20 fucking literal years. Forgive me for getting emotional about it now. Forgive me for letting myself have the spotlight, letting myself have a turn with the fucking mic, letting myself speak my truth and tell my side of a motherfucking story for once, because Lord knows I never fucking did any single time anything happened. Anytime there was a fight, she freaked out on me, she's crazy, get away from her. Okay, guess we're not going to talk about what the fuck you did to make me feel that way, but alright. Tell them whatever the fuck you want. You're the one who has to sleep at night, not me. I'm nocturnal, baby. I'm nocturnal. I don't sleep at night. Why do you think I sleep during the day? The sun makes it go away. Why do you think I look so happy when I'm outside, when I'm walking around? I know it's not every time. But when the sun is out, and it's just shining, and it's warm, and the sky is blue, or the clouds look really pretty, sometimes that is the only joy that I will experience in a day. Sometimes that is it. Sometimes I don't even love the things I love, but I will always have something in my heart, in my eyes, in my mind. I'll always have something for a good sunset or a nice sunrise. I'll always have it in the sky, you know? Cloudy days aren't as good to me. I don't mind rain. Rain helps me stay in bed when I need to. Helps me stay inside and get things done, because I waste a lot of time outside in the summertime, in the springtime, or the fall time, or even winter on the last cold days. Because I don't, it's one of my only defenses. What other choice do I have, you know? Yeah. What choice do I have? Like, I mean, I'm either going to act like this 24/7, or I'm going to take 20, 30 minutes to be outside and feel the sun on my face and fucking literally feel better about it. Like, that's crazy. Why do I ever, like, do this on, I always roll for ads, but because I'm crying a little bit, I'm not really crying. I mean, if this is what I meant when I say I was crying all day, like, I don't think I would admit that I cried this much if it was just for 2 seconds. But no, it's like uncontrollable sobbing and like wailing, like sometimes for hours. It's like, it's crazy. And sometimes it's as simple as just like, yo, rip the bong, you'll feel better. And I'm like, I don't want to feel better. I don't want to smoke weed. See, I was fake crying just now, and I start genuinely crying because it's like that easy, but also that so real. That it's like sometimes the solution can be really simple, but it's such a complex disease of the mind and the body that it's like even a simple solution might seem really, really difficult to do. It's fucking terrible. Oh my God, is this all you talk about? Why you always talk about your period? I've heard it all. I've literally, everything that I pretend to mock somebody about, I've heard it. Literally. And like, I ask a lot of questions, and some people might think that I am being condescending when I ask, or like nosy or judging, but in reality, I just ask people questions, which is why most of the people who have ever, sure, yeah, go for it. Who even? You did not just follow me, but I don't recognize your name really. But yeah, blow my mind already. Damn, what? Is this gonna be awful? Or you know what? What? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get impatient. I'm not trying to be mean. I just am expecting this to be a troll right now because that's where my mind is at. Degenerately. I'm sorry. What are you asking me? Alright. I appreciate your mysterious riddler energy. Because I am a mysterious riddler myself. However, and I'm down to think about this in a better way. And I don't even know if you're still here based on the view count. It's changing up so much. First of all, I do not ask AIs anything. But, right. See, okay, so you said, yo, want me to blow your mind? And I said yes. And then you made a statement telling me what to do, which I don't get. And then you say, can you solve it? And I'm stuck on the part where you said you were going to blow my mind. And let me tell you, asking me a question is not blowing my mind. So I'm mad confused at this point. I'm like genuinely so confused. Is it a riddle? Or is it literal? Or what do you consider the sixth sense? Because I'm a necromancer. I talk to dead people, and that's what we all agreed. Or, I mean, at least what Haley Joel Osment said. There has been way stranger things that has happened here. Yeah, I still am so confused by the whole conversation. Yeah, I guess it's like, do you want me to blow your mind? Okay, fair. Keeping it simple, folks. Also, if you're new or I don't know who you are, like you, Karth, definitely Karth, by the way, is your nickname. Because this is not Wayne's World. This is Illy's world. Okay? It's not Wayne's World. But that's Karth, bro. That's definitely Karth. Party on. So anyways, yeah, there you go. Keeping it simple. I feel like I like Morphian's answer. I feel like that's the best one. Which sixth sense? Because when you think of it, the six questions, the seventh one is which? That's like when you get into journalism. So what are you referring to? What are we talking about? What are you kind of like doing right now? Were you just trying to make me feel better? You just came out here, you're like, homegirl is fucking crying. And you just want to like change the subject when you're like really in depth with an intense conversation, or did you not listen at all before you chimed in? Either way, it's kind of working. Both ways it's working. What's going on? Yeah. Seems kind of rude in a way. Don't you think? You didn't even check in with us at all? We don't even know who you are. We don't know your pronouns, your sun sign, nothing. Right, so if you're new here, sun signs, pronouns, and preferred name. Because I will make up random nicknames for you. It said there were 9 messages before your messages today, so if you were here, it was probably a while ago and where you were quiet. Sense of understanding and intuition, I think, definitely go hand in hand, to be fair. I'm sorry. Is this interesting to you guys? I think I'm getting it, and I think part of what I wasn't getting is that this is just like very obvious and like duh. We didn't have anything. We did figure it out more or less. Like again, you didn't really make it clear what we were figuring out because you're like pair these. What is it? And it's like, what is it? Like, what do you? It still was really confusing. I just feel like it's really obvious the senses in the like that. I remember that lesson in my first grade class, Mrs. G, and the reason that I know there's like additional questions is because she would say who, what, where, when, why, how, when, you know, which, etc. Um, and like that's how she taught it to us because we were learning both at the same time. So sure, you're throwing an intuition, but I'm just like, what again are you asking? Why? I'm lacking that. You know what I mean? Yours was. It was. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I like Morphian's answer of saying whatever you said, which something. I was like, that's brilliant. Like, you're brilliant. That was the best answer to the riddle, in my opinion. And I'm more or less just confused. And I guess I'm in a good enough mood or just like complained long enough to not be in a terrible mood to be able to like laugh this off, if you will. Yeah, I thought that was great. Like, that was brilliant, you know? Really liked that. Anyway, I just feel awkward now. This is like often, you know what? Fuck off. Not fuck off. You can stay if you want to, but I'm so over this really, like, not that, no offense. It's not trying to be offensive, but yeah, I feel you. So, anyways, I don't know how to express that I don't care about this. So here's how I'm going to make this about me again, because it's another complaint again. Why do you make everything about yourself? Because objective paranoia is definitely just like a choice that I'm making as a narcissist to be paranoid that everyone's out to get me and hates my guts. That's what they mean when they say making it about me. Is when something feels grossly personal and I can't really figure out the intention or will behind it. And so I get preoccupied in it due to the paranoia and feel like I'm being watched or whatever. Fine line between actual stalkers and like having the paranoia that I did 10 years ago that was like following me, which maybe they were. That's the whole thing. I probably was on a very primitive government list at a time for the fucking shit that I said. And I basically wrote Helter Skelter, man. I did not write I didn't write, obviously didn't write Helter Skelter, but the shit was more akin to Helter Skelter than anything else. Than any other fucking popular book reference that you can think of. All of the fuck them. I hate it here. I hate it here. I want to light my hair on fire right now. I obviously need to fucking... Yeah, have sex. What are you asking? Okay, so anyways, this is the exact fucking shit that I was just speaking on. And maybe even complaining about. Is how I can be having a very serious and vulnerable conversation and opening up about how I'm feeling in the moment. And it is completely disregarded and derailed because it's simply not entertaining or meaningful enough, important or imperative, to other people. So no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to listen. It's called cuddling. This isn't. Is there a riddles in my tag? Is this the riddles category on Twitch? I don't care, bro. I don't know how to tell you, and I don't know how to be nice anymore because I try to laugh it off and I try to joke with you. But, like, I just feel like you're being really kind of silly, maybe even immature. And once again, it feels really bad to be talking about something that has affected my life and gone on for the past like hour and a half about this, which granted we can move on to another topic, but this ain't it. Right? So it's very ironic, and now we have a full-blown example of how I feel on a regular basis if I ever. It is about me because it's my channel, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? If you don't want it to be about me, go watch somebody else. This is the only time it's about me. This is my time. Right. You don't care. You didn't ask. You didn't find out. The fuck are you talking about? Like, you have started a fire. I'm gonna put it out and just fucking ban and block you because you're being really disrespectful. What are you saying right now? Like, come on. And I tried to fucking. What are you talking about? I literally don't even know you. Like, what do you want? That's what I'm not getting the picture here. If you need to go talk to someone and tell them how you feel, and if you need to go express yourself in some way, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, then you need to do that. But what you're not going to do is project it onto me, make it my problem, or pretend like you know me at all, or who the fuck I am. Especially not if you're going to do it anonymously. So what's it gonna be? You're gonna sit the fuck down and apologize? That is... Everybody can see it. How about a gay fuck me instead? I'd love if a woman came and fucked me right now. What does this mean? I said your riddles suck. This isn't a time for riddles. Try to change the subject. Go back to what we were talking about before you disrupted. And now it's fuck me, fuck you. It's not about you. It's Illy Milly for a reason. It's the Illuminati Mistox Twitch channel. Like, what the fuck? Blow yourself, but your dick's probably not big enough. Bye. Jesus, fuck all Christ. I don't care anymore, you know? How long do you think that person who is claiming to be someone I know, claiming to be someone that, like, whatever, how long do you think they watched to figure out that I wasn't feeling well and that I was not in the mood for these things and that I was being very vulnerable and I was emotional before they decided to act that way? You know what I'm like? They literally said, either way, I'm not going to unban them so that you can see the messages, but they did claim that they do know me in various ways through that 5-minute exchange, claiming I was their ex, claiming that I came on to them, claiming that I am, I mean, they made a lot of claims. So it's just like, what do you want? What do you want? You want to just, you see someone, but he was talking about putting his dick in me at the same time. So that confused me. So anyways, why anyone feels a need to act that way is, it's beyond me, and some days it feels beyond repair. Okay, well, if you want to keep defending him, fucking go for it. I really don't give a shit, you know? I might as well just end the stream now. And this is, like, the whole reason that I, like, don't... You're sitting here, so I didn't read it that way. Didn't we just talk about this? This dude literally said that his fucking cock was inside of me and that I came on to him first and all this other stuff. And you're like, whoa, I don't think he meant it like that. And he didn't, I don't see it that way. Like, what are you? I'm in a mood after I just was blatantly harassed by someone who you're saying is a troll, who had the audacity to say all of these things about me. But this is about the mood that I'm in. Okay, that's good for you. I I I don't care. I don't care. So, brings up an excellent point. So I'm sitting here saying I've been affected by this disease for fucking 20 years and some of the symptoms are including but not limited to having uncontrollable rage, crying spells, poor sense of pain, etc., etc. So then something like this happens where I'm getting blatantly harassed, blatantly disrespected, blatantly distracted. Literally, someone intentionally just like, for no reason, like purposely trying to throw me off my game, purposely trying to pick fights with me, purposely trying to distract me from my point. So even after I say all these things about how hard I'm working and how much I'm trying and how much effort I put into this, at the end of the day, it still isn't enough because something like getting fucking harassed and having to read the things that someone I don't even know is saying to me and I'm supposed to just not react to it, then I don't know what the fuck else to tell anybody. I don't know what the fuck else to do. Am I crying over one fucking troll on the internet? No. Do I give a fuck if I lose a mod on Twitch? Honestly, no. I'm sorry to say that. And if everybody wants to now say, oh, she's not as cool as I thought, she's such a fucking bitch, if that's what you got from this, then go ahead and fucking take it, bro. Because I can't take it anymore. I cannot be seen as impervious to these things. Where if that shit happened to anyone else, how many men have you watched play video games on here and throw fucking controllers because they lost a round in a fucking digital video game that has no fucking stake to it? How many times? How many controllers have you seen get broken on this fucking Twitch app? How many? How many people have you watched cuss somebody out? How many people? How many times? But for the expectation, girl, go to bed. You literally already said goodbye. I'm not even talking to you. I'm not talking about you. I do not give a fuck. It is not best to just leave it there. That is my whole point. That is what I just spoke about for 2 fucking hours. I'm sick of leaving it there. I'm sick of being expected to be able to handle that stuff, even when I am admitting that I'm unable to handle anything right now. And then to have to do it with grace. And to have to put it, oh, haha, another internet troll. Sometimes it is that serious. Sometimes you don't know who you're messing with. Sometimes you don't know who you're talking to. You are the one who said it. Do you need to go back and read your messages about telling me not to overreact and telling me that it's not that big of a deal and that I'm reading into stuff and that I'm in a mood? Like, you didn't say that. Can you just, like, I'll ban you too, and I know that's hurtful because you've been very supportive and you've been on here, but if you say you're leaving and then you don't go and you want to continue to antagonize a point when I am moving on in the conversation, I am moving this forward because I'm not dwelling on this one scenario with this one guy. We have all watched my streams enough to know that this is a regular occurrence. And enough of you are on Twitch long enough to know that it's a regular occurrence across the entire platform. And if you watch my stream, then you know that typically I do not react this way to every troll that comes on here. There have been worse things that have been said to me. There have been worse things that have been done to me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to roll over and take it every time somebody does it. And once again, it is illustrating my earlier point, which also happens in many of the conversations we have, where something happens and we say, this is a perfect example of such, 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 and such. So for me, this scenario was the perfect example of how the expectation is up here when the ability is down here. And as much as I am trying to meet in the middle with things, like, you know what? I'm going to ban them and I'm going to make a lesson out of this. As much as I try to keep a cool head, I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm going to roll ads for 3 minutes instead of ending my stream, because obviously that would have been the goal for someone who would do that to me, right? But instead, you want to keep saying, don't do this, don't act like this, it's not a big deal, oh dear. Now you're being dramatic about it. Now you're antagonizing me for it, when in reality, I'm making this the same motherfucking lesson that would have come from any scenario. You think I'm reading it weird, but maybe you're saying it weird. You literally told me I was in a mood. Duh. I thought you were listening to the stream. What did I just talk about? It's like people just want to get what they can out of you, take what they want from you, and don't actually see who you are or what's in front of them half the time. And it's frustrating. And I'm sorry, but you're making it a lot about you for a scenario that you weren't even a part of because you witnessed it. Now you're trying to give me advice on how to handle it. Well, when it happens to you, I will be sure to remember to give you advice, but it's not happening to you, right? So once again, I don't see your point, but I do see my point. And I'm glad you feel that way, and I'm sorry I don't. Like, That's the thing. If I want to talk about this, it's the same as when we had the fucking someone on here claiming to be a fucking angel, right? And then we all talked about it. And we all said, okay, different forms of beliefs, but that's all right. Let's talk about what just happened. And we had a whole discussion. So if I can admit where I'm at, and I'm having a discussion about something that is interrupted, and I want to go back to the discussion I was already having, but I'm integrating that interruption into my conversation. You know who I'm talking about. This is a notorious person. They came here telling me that they got banned from a different channel for being a bully, and then came on here and started acting the same way. I ended up following the person that fucking banned them for being a bully. And, like, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it bullying, but they were really, really pushy. And that's the thing. The way I react to these trolls is going to be different every time. That one was weird as fuck. That guy had really negative fucking energy. That I'd guess we're talking about the same person, but I don't know that we actually. I'm guessing. I don't want to listen. Funny thing about fucking that I'm not going to talk about right now. But yeah. I'm in it now. Okay, I don't think we're. Maybe we are talking about the same person. They have like their full name on there, but I don't remember it being Jeff. And then they're like, it's not a fake identity, it's my real name, but I'm this other. It was weird. It was weird. I don't care. I don't care if people are weird. That's fine. Be weird. I'm fucking weird too. I'm isolated from fucking society. Okay? Damn. Okay, yeah, we're definitely talking about the same person. And it's either way, it's a lot of trolls, a lot of people. I do this many days, and quite honestly, quite frankly, quite truly, quite wholly, I deserve to have days where someone fucking gets it. And I don't mean, oh, you get it. I mean, no. You about to fucking get it right back. Because a lot of times I stay composed, a lot of times I stay grateful and graceful is what I meant. And there are some days where I just don't fucking feel like it. I just don't fucking feel like it. And I might feel like it next week. I might feel like it tomorrow. But I don't always want to just bend over and say, oh, that's okay. I wish them well. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want you to get the fuck on. Sometimes I just don't even care what happens to you. Sometimes I just kind of want you gone. Like the trolls, not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not as simple as to just block and ban. But you get what I'm saying. We made a lesson out of that one. We're making a lesson out of this one. And honestly, it ain't no fucking different to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same fucking person. Hopefully that clears some things up. Sometimes I'm patient, sometimes I'm kind, sometimes I don't give a fuck. And I want to be as unkind as everyone's been to me. Right? Don't care. Y'all want sympathy for your depression and sympathy for your anxiety and like, oh my god, I'm sorry I couldn't text you back. I'm so anxious and depressed. I forgot that I have a phone even though I'm on it 24 fucking 7. Oh my god. Oh, poor me. Like I have PMDD. I'm feeling really mad right now and anything can trigger me and I'm really sorry how I react to it.
Okay, well, why can't you just be better? Or why can't you just fix it? Why can't you just... You know what? I'm gonna act like y'all. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I just have PMDD, so I actually couldn't be a person. Like, oh my god, isn't it so funny how for 2 weeks straight I just didn't speak to you at all and ignored everything that you said and didn't support anything that you did and just reminded you of how horrible of a person you are? Can you imagine if you treated someone with any other disability like that? The way that people treat people with PMDD. Can you imagine it? Because you couldn't. If I came on here and said, I have depression and it's really bad today and I feel like I'm not winning and blah, 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 and that same scenario happened, there would be 500 shining white fucking horses of no return, whatever that means, saying, oh my god, how could you do that? She's talking about her depression. You're being so mean. But if it's something that people can't relate to, they literally just stop caring. They just don't care. And I've learned this the long way because I've been doing this for 20 years. For 20 years. You know? And that's not even typical of people with PMDD because some people, it just randomly starts in their lifetime. Some people, it doesn't start till they're in their 20s, till after they've had a baby, till they're like in their 30s, till they're closer to menopause. But for me, it just started the fucking first time I ever fucking got a period. So it's been 20 years. And like, yeah, I'm losing my fucking shit and I don't care. You know how many times I've lost my shit in real life and like destroyed things and been fired from jobs and fucking literally just swung on dudes like that? And I don't want to go back to those days because that was when I didn't know what PMDD was, so there was no way to be like, okay, I'm actually just really easily triggered right now and I don't really care. Whereas right now, I'm like, fuck it. Why don't you just see it in action? Why don't you just see it happen for yourself? Like, oh my god. Psycho. Why? Because I get harassed and actually stand up for myself? That's fucking psycho. Fucking A, man. Jesus fucking Christ. There's literally no good doing, no fucking right doing, no being done by. Like, I mean, I'm over it. And I'm over it every fucking month. And every month I continue to fucking live. And I hate it. Even though I love being alive. And I'm a very hopeful person. And I'm bringing so much joy into my world every single day. But at the end of it, it's like, never enough. It's never enough to get through these months that are like this. And I've been trying to fucking um, what? And so, yeah, that's the thing. I've never had a great reputation. Even though I've been struggling with this my whole life and I'm borderline autistic, not because of it, but maybe like the reason that I deal with it is because of the autism, possibly. Might just be PTSD. They are still theorizing on like what exactly makes the PMDD the way it is. And so far, no conclusions, which is why there's no treatments, and it's a deep, dark cycle. So I've been trying to make it a point to like not get too emotional on stream and not cry on stream, and I don't know if I have it in me to like delete this VOD. Like I don't know that I do have it in me. to take it down because again, it's research. It's literally like it's day to day. It's you can watch the stream from yesterday, you can watch the stream today. You can be the judge whether or not nutmeg is an effective treatment. You can be the judge whether or not you think I smoke too much weed. You can be the judge of whether or not I am making up this disease by keeping this up, by sticking to my guns, by letting this exist. Right? And that's a decision that I've had to make for myself, and it's hard. I don't think I want to be as hyper independent as I am, but at the end of the day, that I just like, I know I am. I know why I am. I understand why that is. Because I'm just borderline intolerable half the time, and I don't fucking care. It's not even about being intolerable, and it's not even apathy. It's like I've done this. I've done this for I've done it for so long. I'm hollow to it anymore, and I'm not unaffected. I hate it. I've hurt myself more than I've hurt anybody else. Because, like I briefly mentioned earlier, it's like the feeling in your head of, like, needing to smash your fucking skull in is fucking crazy, right? And yeah, I've attempted it a few times. Not too seriously, but, you know, just, like, slamming my head against a wall or, like, actually, yeah, I've used a hammer to try to do it before because it's, like, this insatiable fucking, you can't do it. Smashing your own head with a hammer is like a lot harder than it might sound. Or I was just being a weak bitch because I don't actually want to die. My body commands that I do this fucking fucked up crazy shit. It gives me no ability to fucking control it. Like, I'm miserable all the time. But that's not true. I'm not miserable all the time. It feels like I'm miserable all the time because of how bad this feels right now. And then, like, other times I'm not great, but I'm not miserable, you know? And so I think that my best being okay is miserable, but, like, I myself am still very happy, and I still get up every day, and I still create joy for myself, and I still, you know, want a life and want the things I want, and still think of myself as capable and talented and beautiful. But you can imagine it's very hard to say nice things to yourself when people are not just jumping to say nice things to you, you know? And I can understand why people wouldn't want to say nice things to me, because either you think I'm some kind of egotistical narcissistic maniac who doesn't fucking need to hear it, or you think I'm horrible and don't actually mean it. So it's like both ways, or either way. I just have to kind of do it all by myself and just figure it out on my own, and keep myself positive and keep myself kind of going, and be my own affirmations. So I get that some people may see my behavior as attention seeking, or even like my personality, the way I dress, the jobs that I do, you know, the work that I do, the skills I've acquired. Seems like, oh, you need external validation and you want attention, and I hear you. I just disagree with you. Because, you know, sometimes I get very nervous if there's too much attention on me in real life. This doesn't bother me as much, but I've also never really had more than 30 people on here at once. So I wouldn't really know how I'd react if there was more than that. But in real life, face-to-face stuff, it can be really, really hard. It can just be really hard to manage anything. So I just want to cry sometimes. Every other month it's a little bit different. This month's really hard, and I kind of knew it would be, because the last 2 months were just a little too easy. Even though, like, February was rough as fuck, March was a breeze, but, like, awful. Like, it's so confusing. It's like if there's less physical symptoms, it's a win, but if there's less emotional symptoms, it's a win, but it's never less of both. It's just, like, one or the other, and then sometimes they're both really bad.
So I think this is the month where they're just both really bad. And I pretty much hurt all the time. It's just sometimes I hurt more than other times. So you only hear me complain about it when it's I can't hold it back no more, you know. So I've been like faking it for the past, I don't know how long I've been making videos. I didn't talk about this for a long time because, like I said, I didn't even know what it was until a few years ago. But at this point, now that I do, and I am working on the research, and I am struggling to find any real conclusions on the matter, I am trying to be more open about it so that I don't have to go through scenarios like that. Where I don't have to be told to just, like, any of it. I want people to know that it's real because listen, honestly, like, if you think that I'm, for whatever reason, think I'm like faking it or don't believe me, okay, ask yourself this. Why would anybody want to? Why would I want to humiliate myself in my own tarot stream? Why would I want to spend time crying and being vulnerable to people who bully me? Why would I want to admit these things to total strangers or to even people I know or anybody on the internet that can watch this? If I was just exaggerating, if I was making it up, why would I do this? People think I'm weak enough as it is, you know? And honestly, in all of it, my one hope, in like being this honest about it is that people will, stop seeing me as so scary and stop seeing me as crazy and, maybe have like some semblance of patience for me or, regard me in a different light or in a different way than they once did. Because I guess if no one knows you're suffering, no one can do anything about it. But when I tell you that a lot of people do know how badly I suffer and they still don't do anything about it, you can understand that I'm not really asking for help anymore. I don't really ask for help anymore. I've learned the long and hard way that there's not many ways to really help this, and there's not many ways that people are willing to help regardless. So that's just where I'm at with it. And it's a bitch. I just wanted to have a fun 420 stream, talk about weed, and make jokes about stoners and things, and thanks. Thank you. You know how, like, I've said, like, when I'm like this, I just stay sedated and I smoke a bunch of weed. God, I never smoked this. Sometimes it's that simple, but sometimes I just don't want to do it. I don't want to have to get high. I don't want to have to take drugs. I don't want to have to be like, you know, I don't want to have to do anything. So I'm just hoping that people see me as, maybe not normal. Maybe I'll never be normal. Maybe people will always regard me as like weird or strange or problematic. But I hope rather than solidifying my horrible reputation, that I change it in my very vulnerable moments and in these radical streams of honesty, that people will see that I am just somebody who is struggling with a disease that has no cure. Instead of seeing me as someone who just is mean or rude or doesn't give a fuck, but rather just haven't had this for 20 years. Instead of saying you're psychotic, you need therapy, you should try something else, you need to do this, you need to get a job, fucking blah, 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 blah. I'm hoping that these more raw moments of the inner workings of it all will help change that perspective that people have over me. Because I admit that I didn't do the best with like self talk for a long time, that I probably put those ideas in their head. And I appreciate that, but as much as y'all can see that I'm sitting here crying right now, and you probably didn't see me get pissed off at like not only a troll but one of my mods, like not even, I don't even know how long ago. I don't want to, as much as you can see that this is like a soft, sort of harmless feeling, you've never. Oh God, I promise. I always promise I'm gonna record myself the next time I get really mad, just so I can watch it and be like, fuck, dude, it's so scary. I get it, it's so scary. But this isn't really the worst of it. That's the worst part. This is not that bad. This is simply not that bad. So, cheers. As seems intolerable, right? Yeah, no, I know. And this is just simply not that bad. But I appreciate you. Because, yeah, before I knew what it was, before I noticed its cyclical nature, I said all the same shit about myself. About being, being crazy, being bipolar, being unstable, being reckless. Like, I'll just make casual jokes along with everyone. I'm crazy. Oh, fucking, who knows what you'll get? Haha, bipolar. And there was just no one there to actually help me figure out what it actually was. Right, and I think, I think in some ways, I almost like being part of the community. And in other ways, I want people to see it for what it is. I'm mostly hormonal. I'm mostly just hormonal. It's the worst. So, I usually just don't stream when I'm in this kind of mood, but I was like, something's telling me, just do it. Just do it. Just, like, make your own documentary. I used to, but thing is, crazy people have treatments. And that's what pisses me the fuck off. I'm definitely big mad scientist energy. Like, we all know that. But what pisses me off is I don't get the luxury of being crazy, quite honestly. The drugs don't work on me. So, crazy people are, that's not fair to categorize, like, the mentally unwell as crazy. Because, like, everybody's definition of crazy is going to be different. But, right. Literally. So, it's just like, yeah. But, let me roll some ads. I know I just rolled them like 30 minutes ago, but I'm probably gonna cry way harder than I did on stream just now. And then we'll talk more about my regiments. But I'll be back in a few minutes. Sorry that turned into like a casual 10-minute break. There's a lot going on right now. I'm trying to do too many things at fucking once. Oh my god, this is crazy. So fuck. Okay. Got a bunch of shit to do, a bunch of stuff going on. I did everybody go to bed while I was gone. Seems like it. Oh god, I was just crying anyway. Sorry it took so long. Yeah, so LOL, because I didn't post it. I feel like you're gone. You have the shitty connection because you used the damn fucking phone app, or because I was. Whatever. I had to. Okay, so I took a break and I had to tend to my night's peril. My night's peril. And clean up some of the mess that I made before the stream and everything. And make up for some things. Like that's what I did on my break just now. First 10 minutes I took in 2.5 hours, and I had to spend it on making up for what I've already done instead of doing the things that I need to do. I'm like, this is a crying stream. I'm letting the PMDD be real because here's the thing. I was caught very off guard. I found a way to help myself through these times of the month, and it's nutmeg. The past 2 days, y'all, you have no idea. Here's the thing. I was thinking about. I had like calmed down. I had to have a moment with my partner because I was like so mad before they went to bed, and now I'm like, okay, I still feel the same way, but I'm not as mad, right? Like I'm not crazy. I was triggered. It's the same. Okay, so the way that PMDD is, it's literally PTSD. It's PTSD with blood. So you can imagine that, especially if your PTSD has anything to do with blood, that PTSD with blood would be like, sounds pretty scary. Yeah, it's pretty fucking scary. It is pretty fucking scary. So, you know the classic PTSD when you are triggered. And I get that anyone can be triggered by things and like have an emotional response to something, but if you have PTSD and get triggered, it's like getting thrown back into combat, being in survival mode, being on the defense, being paranoid, being untrusting, your body being in shock, hyperdrive, overdrive, all at the same time, wanting to shut down and fucking start up. That's what it's like. I'll be building up and feeling emotional, and then if something triggers the PTSD, and I'm good until the PTSD is triggered. And the thing is, even though it's very hard to trigger my PTSD nowadays, I've done a lot of healing. But when I'm premenstrually dysphoric, it's everything will trigger my PTSD, right? It's a stress disorder, but anything will put me in distress when I feel like this. So I can very quickly become a mess. So what happened tonight, the reason it's like, you don't usually get this emotional. I've seen you get mad about stuff. I've seen you shed a few tears, but nothing like tonight. What was that about? And now if you're just tuning in, you're like, oh, I gotta watch this. Drama. Okay. But it's ongoing progress. It's an ongoing, I almost call it a book report, ongoing research, ongoing planning and writing, and I got all this stuff going on that I need it to stay up. I need it to stay up. I need nights like this because here's what happened. When I know I'm going to feel like this, I wake and bake.
I wake and bake. I wake and bake. It's like a very simple. It sounds stupid. And the days that I am like this and I can't wake and bake, it's like I'm awake and I'm gonna tell you not to fucking talk to me until I can smoke weed, right? So what happened was for the past 2 days, I have been in complete and utter euphoric bliss on fucking nutmeg, okay? And I fucking forgot. I didn't even fucking realize I wasn't smoking weed. It was. It makes me so emotional because it's like I don't want to have to fucking do this. It's ugly. It's not good for my lungs. It's annoying. I don't want to have to be dependent on anything. The fact that I felt normal, mostly normal. I wouldn't say I felt exceptionally happy or anything. And I think it is supposed to make you feel really happy, but I get so dysphoric that euphoria just makes me feel like a normal person. It was so beautiful. Oh my god, it was so. Oh, I'm still thinking about it. And nothing happened. I wasn't hallucinating. I wasn't tripping. I didn't even feel like I was stoned. I just didn't feel a need to get stoned because my mood was manageable. The rage was subsided. I was competent at work. I was effective creatively and eloquently. I just, oh my god, and I smoked a little bit, but not like I do when I have PMDD, which is why tonight I packed this bowl for a fucking hour, and then I sat here with it for an hour, and I just wasn't smoking, and I'm like, oh my god, that's why I wake and bake, because if I don't start off stoned, then I forget to get stoned. And it sounds stupid, of course, if you like don't know me and don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're like, what? Sounds like a weird thing. Sounds like you shouldn't be smoking weed, right? I get in these moods where I'm like, no, I want to speak. No, I want to cry about this. No, I want to be mad. I want to let myself feel these things. Is this the best way to do it? I don't know. It's better than just the same people in my life having to hear it over and over again. And that's the thing, man. I complain that I don't have a lot of friends, but like, I get it. I cut them loose sometimes. I'm like, honestly, I don't think you're cut out for this job. And they're like, what job? I'm like, being my friend. They're like, yeah, being a friend shouldn't be a job. I'm like, yeah, so you're just not, you're really not a good fit. That's like so funny, but it's so true. And it's like, don't force your friends to do emotional labor and unfree therapy. Listen, if you feel that way about someone, they're not your friend. Because I'll tell you right fucking now, my besties, my day ones, my real friends, never have a problem sitting with this. They may not love it, but they also love me. And they know I also don't love this. And they also just don't want me to die. That's so nice. And I just want to say, oh God, I don't know if this is too embarrassing for him or not. Because I really want to shout him out because he streams. And he was always like so good to me from the day we met. One of my best friends in this whole world, no matter what distance is between us or anything that happens or whatever, I swear to God, he among other people showed me like how what it really was to be loved and to be a friend and to like be understood and felt and like kind of held space with like that. It's I yeah. Like before I knew about PMDD and before I reckoned with or treated my PTSD or even I don't even think I went to therapy at all at that point. So like this is years ago that he would know that I'd be like this. I'd be like, I'm just crying. I don't know why I'm so upset. Or it's maybe this or that, or this or that. And then unload all my stress and be like, I guess all those things are upsetting me. Because I didn't realize that there was this hormonal influence where in my off weeks, I'd be able to just like talk about those things as they were happening. Or I would ignore it because it's really not that big of a deal. But then when you're already stressed and you're already prone to crying, you're already prone to rage, you're already prone to freaking out, all those things have a much heavier weight. And it's like, oh, I can't carry this anymore. I can't deliver another fucking pizza. I can't do it, you know? Only for like a few days, at most a couple weeks.
And then it goes back to being like, oh my God, I love this. I can't believe I hated it so much last week. I feel fine. So yes, I get why that looks bipolar, but the reason it's not is because bipolar's random. You don't get a fucking, I have a preset schedule for this. So days that I know I'm gonna be like this, I wake up and I fucking wake and bake. I don't wake and bake every day. I don't like to get high as soon as I wake up. But there are days if I wake up and I'm in fucking war zone, I'm like, who the fuck said that? It's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Nobody said anything. Woo, all right. You know, like, let's relax. Let's just, before you even get up, before you even get out the bed, let's just like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And that's only on those days like this. But the nutmeg, I didn't even need to smoke weed. And I didn't even really realize or appreciate what was happening until I came down. But I did think I was going to get a third day out of it, which is why I didn't prepare for this. It took a minute to figure out, like, why. That was like, I don't know, I'm doing all the same. I was like, oh, I'm not doing all the same things. I didn't stay sedatedly stoned today. Fuck. That's why it's not the come down from the nutmeg. You know, it's the fact that you watched me. Well, you didn't watch me. Last night I was sedated. Tonight I'm not. It's the same week in my cycle, though. I would have felt this bad last night had I not been smoking and hadn't eaten the nutmeg. You know what I'm saying? So, like, again, I have to document these things. I do, because it's part of my research, and it's, like, my own evidence of, like, well, of course it's going to get held against me now. Like, I don't know, evidence is such a heavy word. Like, I'm sure people are keeping track, though. There are people who are counting something. They're counting something. They are counting. I see like a lab coat with glasses, lab coat, clipboard with check marks, checking something. I don't know if they're watching me right now or if that's just something you do in your daytime. I don't know. It's very weird energy, though. I feel that these things are going to free me, and that's why I do them. And some of the things that I do end up holding me way more or worse than the things that I let go of, so to speak. But I try to live as freely as possible, but there has to be a certain level of containment with me, and it's like fucking sad and like very hard to describe to people until they see it. And if you watch this last 2 hours and 40 minutes, you'll see it. Cheers. This is why I smoke weed. In case you missed it earlier, I highly do not recommend nutmeg recreationally to get high. It is so not worth it. It is so... If I didn't have cramps like a motherfucker regularly, there's no way I would have stomached that shit. It is awful. And I do mean going down, but also while it's in your stomach, it is a terrible feeling, and you will feel the nutmeg, you'll taste the nutmeg, you won't want to eat anything else. It fucks you up. So do not recommend it, like, leisurely or recreationally at all. I did it in high school a couple times just for the shit of it, and fucking had a great time, but only did it twice, you know? Probably just because I started doing real drugs, but either way, I just, like, want to emphasize that I was inspired by Bicycle Day, but my reasoning was PMDD. Just saying. So, who knew that my life would become so full circle? Because when I was 15, 16, you know, and I was just trying to get high, but I was also experiencing the cyclical PMDD signs, right? But didn't know it. And now, like, literally 15 years later, it becomes the cure to my problem that I had then but didn't know of. And, like, I gotta admit, I gotta give it to Hunter S. Thompson, because last night, when we did that channel message, I'm kind of blown away at the thought that he said, I've been fucking looking out for you since you were 15 years old, and now I'm like, oh my god, he was trying to tell me the whole time. Like, he knew that would have been the cure, and he knew what it was probably because of all the other people who have done it for spiritual and recreational reasons. That's so cool. That's so cool, especially because people do regard him as fucking crazy, and you gotta love it because people also regard him as one of the best, and like that's what he wants for me, and yet I am failing. I'm willing to try anything, um, because I am losing. to the, I'm losing to this shit. I can't even say it out loud without fucking getting emotional because it's true. I'm losing. I am losing this battle. Holy fuck, I'm losing this battle. Um, and I don't want to be, and I won't think I am in a few minutes or tomorrow or next week or whatever. But like in the moments, it's like the reality is that it has already ruined everything in my life, and that I'll most likely have to do it for the next 20 years. Like I didn't just do it for the last 20. With no end in sight. And my last hope at this point is nutmeg. You're joking. Like, that's so cool, though. That's like literally, do I not embody psychedelia even if I don't really do the drugs because it is just a beautiful mind? Ah, like you wouldn't believe. Like you wouldn't believe. Some people want to perceive it as schizophrenic, that's fine, but how do I get all this fucking very exact information from anybody's fucking, whether it's their mind or their grandpa's, right? Like, whoa, there's very much no denying to some extent. So it's almost like I recognize it, and there have been people throughout my life who have always recognized it, and there's people who have maybe recognized it and just never wanted me to see it. Like, okay. But, that's inevitably, like, I think I'm channeling something. What is this? Bloodletter. You're the bloodletter. You're the bloodletter. Remember, months and months and months ago, I said 2 of you were bleeding. 1 of you cut your hand on purpose, by accident. The other one cut their arm the other way. I was like, whoever cut their arm is the one who didn't know what they were doing, but did it anyway, right? That was you. And someone else cut their hand by accident and then did something, and that was him. Yeah, somebody's fucking short circuiting. Anyways, who's I don't even know. Who am I talking to? Oh, creepy. Maybe I don't know you, but you just have followed along. The lurker since the beginning, perhaps? Oh, like, I don't know. Interesting. It's funny how when it's weird. I'm like this in real life too. And at this point, I have to assume that the only 2 views left really are sleepers at this hour and of this level of commitment to lurking, right? But that felt like a pretty live conversation where I'm like, oh God, somebody, like, whatever that was. Isn't it wild how there are nights I can have a whole group of people that I'm reading for, reading to, talking to, conversing with. I could entertain 15 people at once. They don't usually stay though because they're like, it's not what they're looking for, that's fine. And then the second it gets, I'm like, oh, it's just us. Who's us? I don't know. 2 random viewers. Probably both just people who are sleeping right now. Like, I'm hearing too many weird fucking things. Listen. Immediately got more comfortable. Immediately became more relaxed. Immediately it started to feel more like my stream normally does, and my level of conversation is tip top. And I am almost 3 hours into this after a whole emotional roller coaster. So it's pretty wild to witness Once again, the hyper independence and hyper isolation at play because once again, I juggle a crowd every night, and then all of a sudden I'm like, get out, get out, get out. I don't like any of you. I hate all of you. Go away. I can't do it. Fuck you. Blah blah blah. What? Because you didn't smoke weed today? Maybe it's just because I'm tired. It would drive anybody nuts, and let me tell you, it does drive everybody nuts. And I'm like, any more suggestions from anyone? And these are Custer's Last Dance. Fucking nutmeg. Shit. Like, stuff I did when I was 15 recklessly for no reason now has become potentially curing. Well, we'll see. That's crazy, right? That's wild. Because then it makes it all make sense. Where you're like, oh my God, how did you know you didn't know? I'm like, I know. It's crazy. It's literally, it's like mind blowing. Like, we have to kind of like be that. Like, I wouldn't know how else to become the one. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that's wild. And this is how you use your excuse. You get my juice, and you get all the answers, and you put it all together, and now you have the whole puzzle, and I have fucking nothing. I don't even have my own pieces of the puzzle because I gave them away. Most of them went to the same fucking hands, right? And that sucks because the thing is, it sucks both ways. Anything I kept, I kind of destroyed. I threw it away. I trashed it. I fucking do not admit this enough, but I destroyed my own best friend, my laptop. I took a hammer to that bitch right after I took it to my head, so whatever. They both said, it said they're both corrupt, and I was like, oh no, get us out. I don't know. Like, it gets cagey. The rage gets cagey. It's like, what is that? And it's like, yeah, I don't know why no one knows. Turns out it's something that affects hundreds of thousands of people, and nobody seems to give a shit to fucking figure it out. So I do. Quietly figuring it out is difficult. Talking only to the people in my life is difficult. On them mostly. You know, like that's. It's a lot. Kind of mostly because they just can't relate and don't want to. Well, obviously nobody would want to, but also can't fathom a lot of stuff like that in the first place. Like all of this other stuff, where it's just like add on the crazy, chaotic, unpredictable. It's not really, like I said, it's not really unpredictable if I know what's happening, right? And I have a regiment, but if I so much as go 2 hours without sticking to that regiment during these 2 weeks, it's like hell will break loose. Yes, hell will definitely break loose. So that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's beyond interesting. It's been a battle that no one's winning. Like I say this a lot, but like I'm in the fucking PMDD groups online, and it's like there is literally none of us have hope. People who have hope are like blinded by it. They're like new to the group. They're like, this is so helpful. I'm like so excited to try this. And then there's people like, I've been on this thing for like a few weeks or a full cycle or 3 months or 3 years. And then there's people who are like, I'm back for more. And then it just becomes the conversation of, it's nothing, isn't it? And it's every week. You see the whole conversation being had from post to post, comment to comment, every week, because we're not all synced, we're all strangers on the internet, but you'll see the same story and the same timeline of posts where it's like, have you tried, like everyone's super hopeful about a treatment, and then the next post is like, these treatments aren't always helpful for everyone, and then the next post is like, does anyone have any ideas for treatment? And then the next post is like, I don't know what to do with the hopelessness and how there's so fucking, what do we do? What do we do? Holy fuck, that's so crazy that no one even cares to figure out why people are affected with it, but best guesses say stuff like ADHD or autism or PTSD, which would suggest that it's curable, But I myself have done therapy and EMDR and a lot of my own spiritual work and research and gone through my darkest nights of the soul and done the drugs and done it all. That I get it, but I don't. It's hard. Like, I'll never tell you it's not. I ain't never gonna tell anybody it's not anymore. I never understood it because I was like, I am a fucking mediocre, middle class white girl who's lived comfortably from the suburbs her whole life. I literally do not understand why I hate things so much. What is this fire? What is this rage? Why am I so emotional? Why am I so much more emotional than all my peers? Why am I the only one who seems to be crying? Why am I the only one who cares about the fate of the earth? And if I would have known, oh God, it's just fucking like it's like you pour hot metal into my fucking mouth and it just like slowly solidifies throughout my entire esophagus, lungs, stomach, and body, and then you can pull it out, and that's how it feels to think back about how, if I would have known. And then, like, I'm supposed to continuously convince myself that this is worth it because that's my belief system, because that's what I do and that's what I'm good at. And so I'm like, well, if I can do it for other people and it applies to everyone else, it's gotta apply to me too. And then I'm like, okay, try this. It's working, but it's not. Okay, let me try that. Oh, couldn't last at that one. Okay, let me try this again, or that, and this and that. And all those roads have always led back to the same fucking thing that I can't stand. Because I made a mess. I make a mess every fucking hour on the hour. You should have seen me an hour ago on the stream. And you can now because it's a VOD. Like, it's unfortunate for me that fortunately there are greater things at play than just me. Because if Anubis in my heart can see nothing lay but feathers be, lighter than my everything, better than the air I breathe. Love is all around me. Hope is here to guide me. Light remains shining. Darkness is the rising. Kind of like a switch in tide, or something odd, and maybe another thing that I forgot. Like, I can't seem to ever win it all. Because I'm the one who makes the call. Like I know how to use it all. The things it is I'm meant to hold. Scary stuff. Like, beautiful poem though. Whatever that was. I don't know if I channeled it, or if you channeled it, or someone else channeled it, or if it's spoken word, impromptu. Sometimes I think the reason people accuse me of reading stuff is because I look around. And as much as I do have like a bunch of shit written here, it's like I would just say if I was reading something. I don't understand. It's like people lie so much that it is ingrained into them to assume that another person is inherently lying about themselves. And it just
justifies them lying to the other person. And like I am like I'm baffled at how y'all just like live like that, and then you're like, well, it just would have been this way or that. How and then everybody thinks that I'm so shady and like I'm so dishonest, or like I don't know, they project that what is done unto me towards me, because radical honesty is actually very hard to come by these days. And sometimes I say things slowly if I really do not have the confidence in what I'm saying. Like right now, I'm like, oh, this sounds like I'm really talking myself up, and I wouldn't doubt that I'm channeling this message. They sometimes do have to remind me. Because sometimes I can see it in myself, and I can really think it and really believe it. But if I have to start saying it out loud and defending myself, I give up. I fight too much. It's a war with it. I don't need to. Listen, I don't have it in me to convince anybody of anything, because I have to do this 24 fucking 7. No days off, no weeks off. My days off are spent fucking feeling nothing. And I'm not saying days off work, I'm saying days off of feeling some extreme or the other. The days off are just numbness. It's only like 2 days at a time, every couple weeks. And it's like, it's not even satisfying because, like, one, obviously, the mania is the most fun. It's just sometimes painful for me. And two, the PMDD is oddly comforting and releasing when it's not out of control. And so you get these moods where it's neutral, and it's like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. It's like, oh my God, if I have a moment to not have to battle either extreme, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, I could be tired if I want to. I could just be nothing. I could have 0 opinions. I could be this. And that's kind of where my head goes for those 2 brief days where I'm like this window of I'm causeless and content. And then it's whoop, right back to the circus. Right the next day. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm just gonna lay around and sure, fuck it. And do this. Talk to the world about my problems. It's not even, well, here's the thing. If I really talk to you about my problems, I got plenty of problems. PMDD is my affliction. That's not really a problem. I got 99 problems. PMDD ain't one. The problems is all the stuff that happened because of it. And that's what I'm working on fixing in my private life. So, like, as much as I share on here, I understand how Scorpio placements end up being so mysterious. Wow. Thanks for coming back. It was a great conversation that you missed. But it was meaningful for somebody else, I think. And wasn't really about anything. I'm like going back and forth between everything right now. How are you? It's been a hell of a night. Yeah, I don't care. No, tonight was crazy. You don't even know. But like lately, you haven't been on here that much. It's like, hey, it's like people have lives. It's Twitch. It's like this is my gig. I can't expect people to show up to every single gig, right? It's crazy. This is what I look like after a full day of crying. And you know I ain't even exaggerating because I already just cried on stream. This is what I look like. There's no makeup. I cried it all out. This is just what I look like. Hardcore, puffy face, PMDD'd out. No sleep. Another blood. I don't know. This is what a hardcore look like. If they are trying to catch a fucking, here, you want a scan of my face? There it is.
As if it's not already everywhere. Who gives a shit? What? How much work can you make life worse? Damn, that'd be crazy. God, sorry. I love that for you. That's what I'm saying. I'm like ready to get into that fucking mood. I'm glad you're here. I got all the PMDD stuff out. I am no longer experiencing hunger. I say that because I'm like, I should be hungry and I'm not. So I'm no longer experiencing hunger. Which is like another huge problem. Is like when I say that my pain tolerance gets ridiculously high, that is included. I don't feel that stuff. It doesn't feel like hunger. It's like something don't feel right. My head kind of hurts. I'm upset. I'm gonna cry. And then it's like, you just like, the further you go away from it, the less you want it. Trio with 3 viewers. Which was crazy, where it's like, oh no. That once that PTSD clicks on, it's hard to get it all the way off. It's for sure hard to get it all the way off. Terry Sun, Godric Rising, Stackhouse. No, I'm sorry. I'm not a Godric Rising. I wish I could fucking be pulled off and perceived as a Godric. Listen, Terry Belflor's son, Godric Moon, Stackhouse Rising, Suki or Jason. That's my big 3 as supernatural. Not supernatural. I've never seen that show. True Blood characters. That's great. I love the Dorito emoji, even though I don't really like Doritos that much. Oh, somebody's jealous. Somebody's like, oh, she was talking to me. No, I was just talking. You're an anonymous viewer. Was there someone awake on here? There was. That's gotta be it. What fucking time is it? What time zone are you in? Cause the fuck is that about? Yeah, well. This is where we've gotten. Blowing my nose on stream. Y'all know I'll fucking roll ads before I let y'all see me act like this. I was crying. I don't care. What am I supposed to do? I cry to get it all out. It is. That's why I don't try to stop myself most of the time. Don't love the idea of doing it online. Like, that's not the point, you know? And it's not like, it's not even like I was looking for sympathy. It's just like, it's either I do my job in tears or I don't do my job at all. So there's some jobs, there's no jobs. There's few jobs that you can do crying. There's like very few jobs you can do crying. There's very few people who will forgive you for freaking the fuck out on them. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for someone who can barely get through 5 weeks because of a fucking, the cycle is Discordian. But I loved that book in high school. What's it called? Concordia, Discordia, or some shit. That shit was amazing to me. It was probably so schizophrenic. Like, I don't even care. I loved it. God, it was like the first piece of anything I ever got. I love that book. Is it Concordia, Discordia, or something? Maybe I'm not saying it right. I'm gonna look it up. It came up on the stream recently, though. I feel like. Okay, so what's interesting is Concordia Discordia is a thing, but it's not the book I was talking about. So like that's really weird. What the fuck? Who am I talking to right now? Like a fucking mathematician? The clipboard lady? She's a mathematician. She's been trying to calculate my stream suggestions. No, I'm like joking, but what the fuck is Concordia Discordia? I don't know. This is not what I was talking about at all. This is like so funny to me. Is this economics? No, radiometric dating? ISO. Who was okay? Who? What is this? This is so cool. What's the book called though? This is so crazy to me that this is a real thing. Okay, so it's two different things, and that's why you can type them together. It's Concordia and Discordia. This is blowing my mind right now. Why is it always like this? Dude, I love math though. Math is leisurely. Math is very pleasurable. I love math, dude. Um, what the fuck is that book called? Principa Discordia. Principia, probably. Whatever language that is. Came out April 14th, 2009. I wish I would have known that. We would have celebrated the fuck out of it. This is so gorgeous. Maybe I should order one. Oh my god, the one that I fucking read was yellow, but I just love shit like this. I always have. Oh, it's a game too. I never even played the game. This is even funnier to me. I was just like down for it. No, this is a different book. That's not the same thing. It's not a game. That's not 2009. Damn. All right, now I'm confused. I got this. There we go. Yeah. 1963. This makes more sense. I was like, 2009? That seems crazy. I didn't realize it was a game that I was looking at. This is great. Oh, hey, everyone. I was like not looking. Oh my god, I'm a mess too. I don't even look amazing right now like I usually do. What the fuck? Better than most people do after a long night of being emotionally, hormonally theatric. I was looking up this book I read in high school like one time. Since we were talking about insanity and stuff all night, it just felt like, yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm basically, this is me. I need this book, probably. I'm gonna read that shit again. It was very inspiring at the time, and I feel like it shows. I feel like it wasn't even that it inspired me, it was just what this fucking type of shit I was already on by the time it came into my existence, where I was like, yeah, this is the right path. Like, I'm on the right path. Like, people like me do exist because of this book and shit like that. Like, that was such a vibe. Such a vibe. I like maybe should not preach about it too much because what if I read it and it didn't age well? But from what I remember, it's like it's pretty good. There was no hate speech or anything of that accord that I recall. But then again, I was a lot more ignorant at the time. God, it was just so fun. Because it's just so funny how they just like fuck you up. They just fuck you up. It's so good. This is such a fun rabbit hole to be on right now. Oh, they all left because I wasn't doing tarot, probably. Or because I made a joke talking myself up. How dare I? See why I do that now? Because I literally legitimately feel like that fucking terrible about myself. Like half of my whole existence. Yeah, I would probably get pretty arrogant too, right? Is what you're thinking. Is like, yes, if I had to go through that, I would probably talk the hell out of myself too. Holy fuck. Who wouldn't? And then everybody expects me not to. That's okay. I'm like so proud of you for doing it. I haven't gotten around to listening to much because I've been a hater this week, so it's like not a good time to listen to your new song, quite honestly. So I haven't yet, but Angus Cloud, right? Came out, Bully Boy over here. Um, I'm literally gonna go to bed soon too. It's 3 in the morning. Part of me is like, I might have to sit here and fucking write and binge with Hunter S. Thompson. I feel like the lesson that I've learned in the past 3 days is that bicycle day is a fucking 3 day long trip, even though I'm not tripping. Tripping in a different way. Tripping in the holistic, all natural way. the illy way, the silly illy hours of the morning are happening now. So maybe I'll just sit here and write a book instead of sleeping, because chances are I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate trying to fall asleep. I get these intense, intrusive thoughts that are like sometimes violent, if not just uncomfortable. I'll get anxiety about everything that I've ever done wrong in life. I like, girl, it's so many things. It's so many things. And then I might also get some fucking cramps and shit. Um, so like sometimes it's not even worth trying to sleep. And this is exactly what I refer to when I say I don't usually have the time to fall asleep and wake up. Is because if I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired, if I go lay down right now, I probably will start sobbing my eyes out and be really self-conscious about this stream. But if I bust out another chapter of the book that I'm writing about the PMD research that I'm doing, I will feel like this stream was worth it, instead of going to bed feeling like a loser who just cried on the internet. Because sometimes you kind of gotta make choices. And like I bet Hunter S. Thompson was there at one point. He's like, yo, I can either come off this bender and admit I'm a drug addict, or I can like double down, write about all my experiences in Vegas. And like that's what he did. And then ever since then, everyone was like, yo, listen, despite what Hunter said, like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Yeah. Everyone's like mutually like, yup, what happens? Yes. Dr. Hunter S. Thompson himself ruined that for everyone, or made it for everyone. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And like, crazy to think what that would mean for people. Yeah. Hate that. Listen, I have to roll these ads in like 3 minutes. I appreciate the 3 lurkers who are here listening to the ramblings of a madman. What am I gonna do on my ad break? That's going to determine what I do for the rest of the day. And the thing is about the book is I sometimes do not give a fuck. I sometimes get in these moods where I'm like, look, I gave enough of my life to that disease. I spend enough of my time fighting. I have done enough by simply surviving time and time again, round after round. I don't want to spend another fucking minute thinking about this shit. And then stuff like this happens, and I'm like, yeah, no one's looking out for us, and no one's gonna figure it out unless we do. And so I have to take it on myself personally. It's a big one, but nobody else is doing it. So I'm like, fuck. All right, I'm your guy. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. So I'm gonna roll these ads, and I'm gonna collect a few things. And like, I kind of wanted to end this stream and do tarot, but I might try to write a little bit before I go back on. We'll see how the morning is. Sometimes the like 8 a.m. mornings are like wildly like whatever, I don't know, like bumping. These are the slow hours of the morning, and then it gets to be like daytime in other places, even though it's still early for me. So in a few hours, it might be a good time to stream some tarot, like let the sun come up. I am gonna roll these ads, and then yeah, I'll probably just wrap this up. Might jump back on mid morning really, and pull some cards. It might not be that long. And honestly, I don't know. It depends on how much writing I get done and what I can manage right now. But again, if I get the passion, the inclination, the inspiration, the fucking reasoning to do anything, then I have to just go with it and like do it and like get on. So, oh, I do know what I have to do during the stream. Alright, good, anyways. Alright, I got 20 seconds. I'll be right back, even though you gotta be fucking sleepers, right? This is crazy. Okay. It's funny how much I complained about that word and then haven't stopped using it since. 3 minutes. Well, dang. Forgot I had to do something before I ended this stream, like on the stream, and I just can't figure out fuck how. unfortunately enough. I may have really messed this all up. Got a little ahead of myself on some other things as well. All in all, I am like fucking tired all of a sudden because I try to do this thing. Oh my god. I'm trying to use Twitch software. I'm literally like, damn, this shit is exhausting. I try not to hate anything, but I hate all this stuff. Okay. I fucked this up. Oh my god. So I'll just be sitting here chatting like this. Maybe it feels like chiming in because I got some shit to take care of. Oh my god, is this the internet cutting out or no? No. Okay. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. God. Am I singing the hippopotamus song? I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Oh, hippopotamus will do. If that feels like a personal message, it most likely is. I'll put it that way. I was about to wrap some stuff up, y'all. I was gonna get out of here and go, gonna go write a book. Boom, baby. But I had to figure something out. Before I left, before I ended the stream. I'm on a mission. So I'm here. I'm just kind of chit-chatting. I'm obviously not, you know, doing any tarot in the moment. Happy 420. Hey, oh my god. Mrs. Balloon Hands. Listen, I know that it's Miss Balloon Hands, and I'm sorry for calling you Mrs. It's so deeply, horrendously sexist of me because I think of myself as Miss the Balloon Hands, and so I think of you as Mrs. Balloon Hands. I'm sorry about that. It's been a very emotional night. You didn't miss any tarot because I didn't do any. I just had to change some settings, dude. It's been crazy. Like, I'm literally, I should be more embarrassed, and you have to understand in the way that I'm fucking not. I'm sick of holding it together. Actually, I wish I was more unhinged. You know. Literally could care fucking less, but I think it would be awful of me to do so. Yeah, maybe. So I hope everyone else is doing really good. Okay, I appreciate that. See, and people would argue with me that I am way, like, there's no hinges. I'm not even unhinged. There's just no hinges at all. So for me to say I want to be more unhinged, it's a bold-faced lie. This is a lie that I tell myself sometimes when the PTSD is swinging and the PMDD is coming and the blood has yet to shed. Where who? Oh, the people saying I got no hinges? Not here. So speaking of unhinged, here's my plan. I'm gonna not sleep because listen, I know I'm in a mood. I was like, oh my god, you should definitely sleep. Why would you not sleep after all of that? And it's like, why? Because now I need to write it down. Now is the time to keep Hunter S. Thompson on my mind and bust this fucking banger out. And I don't channel him for it. He has no idea of this experience. He would never be able to write it. He literally just stands there and makes me do it. And like, that's cool. That I vibe with. That he's probably been doing for too long. If you don't think about it too much, because it wasn't in any weird way. Or was it? I don't think so. Love that. Mine's about to drop in like 6 days. So, I'm in the ringer. Because that's life with PMDD. If you want to know more about it, you can watch this 3-hour long stream You can see me cry. You can see me yell. You can see me lose my shit. You can see me cry some more. You can see me get very emotional. You can see me laugh in between all of that. You can see me hold my own, lose my blunder, make no sense, say things that make no sense. Earlier, I said something so fucking ridiculous. I think what I meant was shot in the dark, but I like said something so crazy, like so crazy. And what you'll observe in this 3 hours is that I didn't really smoke weed. And that's literally where it all went wrong. That's literally why it all went wrong. But at least we see that now. And so if people want to still hate on me for like smoking weed, especially on camera or whatever the fuck people think, I don't know where, obviously, being psychic, there's a lot of stuff that, like, yeah, helps. It is it for me. It's my only form of treatment. And as of Bicycle Day, thank you to all my elders who have passed on before I was even born, but like I love y'all just the same. Some of them not, so but still. Oh my god, however old I was in 2005, Hunter S. Thompson probably came straight to me. Like when I think about that, because I was not 15. Maybe he was giving space, or it took him a while to get adjusted, but it makes sense that he died in 2005. And like that would have been when I was going through this, so he stepped in, I guess, when I was 15. I don't know, this is so random. Yeah, dude, I feel that because alcohol in the moment can really help, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh well, now I've lost control of the alcohol instead of losing control to the pain and sorrow or whatever. So like, I don't want weed to ever not help me. And the weed, thank you, Lady Simone. Oh, hello. I feel like everything just got real classy. Um, sorry. Okay. So I'm not, girl. You literally are tripping about. You don't even know if this is a woman. They're not even catfishing you. It's literally a screen name. You need to calm down. All right. Hey, I'm still here. So how's it going? How's it going? No, I meant the Lady Simone. I think we've talked about it before, and that's why it's like it's not even like I'm having like I already was like my missus to my mister, and now I'm like, oh, classy lady in the room. It's like, bro, they're screen names. Yeah, it's okay. It's still hilarious, right? It's hilarious both ways. So I'm trying to introduce nutmeg into my regimen, but I cannot recommend it to anybody. It's literally like so desperation, like so good. Cheers, baby. Cheers. I'm about to blow this whole fucking bowl so I can have a minute of sanity before I go and before I start writing. Okay, so here's the question. Here's the thing. The worst part about the PMDD is like the hyper isolation and the hyper independence and the willingness to fight with everybody. That makes it really hard to be around people. But then also like the reckless, irresponsible, dangerous, hazardous, suicidal behavior makes it so that you have to be around someone all the time. It's literally awful. So as much as I don't want to socialize, I'm like, the stream feels nice. Like, it feels good. It didn't at first. Well, it did and it didn't. It goes back and forth. Like, that's the nature of the PMDD. But at this point, I'm like, I'm getting stoned. I'm feeling it again. I'm, like, not as upset. But then I'm like, why did I even get this upset? But then it's also, like, proof in the motherfucking pudding about this fucking weed helping. Like, as much as people want to think I'm just a stoner, degenerate, fucking smoke a weed, blah, 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 blah. All right, you want to see what happens when I don't? Because all week long, I know, for real. But all week long, I said in my streams last year, like, oh, I'm not really smoking that much. Like, I only hit the bong once here and there. Hey, is this like the day crowd I was waiting for? That's so funny. So I was like smoking less and less on the stream because I don't need to all the time. But in this case, I did need to, right? I did not time out my ventures well enough. Yeah, I didn't stop. I just was smoking. Some days I just barely smoke. Some days I smoke a ton. It's based on my moon cycle, the cyclical calendar of the beast in my uterus. So, $350 worth of what? Wait, what were we just talking about? That you would buy? What did we? Nutmeg? Weed? Yeah, the last thing I said. I was like, wait, it's $4.20. Dude, we were gonna go to a dispensary, and I thought like the later we waited, the more likely it would be like not as busy. And it was I was like, I can't stand outside right now. I'm fucking bleeding and cramping and a mess. Like I can't do it. Um, so whatever, just fucking buy from the guy. You know, it's fine. Still smoke weed. Um, Crazy. I was pretty blissed out on nutmeg the past couple days. 333, by the way, on the timer. My timer. Um, yeah, so it was like wow, a Kylie. Thank you for the follow. I like was trying to be, I just, oh God, I feel like it sounded like I was like, but I was trying to be enthusiastic, and the reason it doesn't sound genuine is because at this point, 333, at this point in the night or in my life or this time of the month, I just like that. I'm so sorry. God. Okay, just keep digging that. I think at this point I'm getting hungry, which is good, because earlier I was like, I'm not really feeling hunger, and I should be feeling hunger. I'm like not doing tarot right now, but you can always go on my website and buy one if you want to. So, usually if the pink box is up, it means that we're in chat mode. Tonight I didn't do any tarot, to be honest with you. Usually I switch it up. So if you see the turquoise box, tarot mode. But they're all general. But not so general, because everybody kind of gets a little personal taste. That being said, best way to absolutely get the most accurate message is to just get your own. And then it'll probably creep you out. You'll be like, damn, how did you do that without even seeing me, or hearing me, or knowing anything about me? You'll be like, I don't know, man. It's just something I do. So, that's cool. So yeah, no, I think I'm actually just gonna switch over and do so. I don't know. It's like, for a moment I was very inspired, because it's like, we were just talking on the stream the other night how like we love writing in the morning. Like morning is the best time to write. And I wish I would have mentioned this when Dom and I were talking about this. But I just realized that like when I wrote that, well, not wrote, because a lot of that was scrap work, but when I pieced together that poetry book that I read on stream, the yellow one, short, strange, and slightly deranged, when I put that together, even though some of it was written on the spot, and, well, my mornings are me being high late at night. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right now is the morning. So I'm like, yo, it's kind of is a low-key good time to write. Like, this is a good time to write. Especially because I had this very passionate 3-hour stream about PMDD, and the book itself is indeed about that. So I got Hunter S. Thompson in my ear being like, girl, you can't let me down. I put everything on you, baby. And I'm like, fuck, you shouldn't have. And he's like, yes, I should have. Like, let's do it. Okay. It's so fun and cool. I was like in my Nico era, and now I'm back into my Hunter S. Thompson era, because I'm guaranteed to look like one of them any given day of the week. I'm like, that's so bizarre, but yeah, it's the two drastic personalities, and I'm trying to fucking not clash them into one, but if I could just find a recipe of being a reasonable human every single day of my life, oh my good God, that would be awesome. The things I could accomplish if I could cure PMDD, but I can't. But neither can anybody else. So I'm gonna give it my best effort to be the one to figure it out. That's just all I'm saying right now. Let's go. You want to challenge me? You want to race me to it? You want to figure out PMDD before me? Please do. I'm begging anybody to. I don't want to waste my life on this. I don't want to have to do this, but I'm gonna do it because it's affecting me every single fucking day for the last 20 years and the next 20 years to come. So
the race is on. Let's do it. Everybody, let's fucking cure PMDD. But people don't like group efforts and communal energy and working together. They like to compete. So I have to take on the competitive mindset, not for myself to win, but for others to get going, right? I'm kind of kidding. I never felt the need to compete, but honestly, it does not serve you well in capitalism. I'll tell you that much. Or even in society, people love a little healthy competition or even unhealthy competition. It's just not in my nature. I'm like, hey man, that's great. If you think you're the best at this, I'm not here to challenge you about that. I'm like, that's fine. You know? So if I'm the best at something that I do, right? And you like want to flex your skills in the regard that it's my expertise, then I can just kind of let you. But there are some things, right? But that's why ultimately I can root for everyone. And something that dawned on me today, maybe I already said this, but I'm still thinking about it. No, I don't think I said it. Yeah, I don't see why that's such an issue for people. But if you fucking say, I'm gonna be great, I'm gonna be the best, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, people will say, oh, no, you're not. And you'll be like, oh, are you gonna? And they're like, no, no. But now I'm gonna try. Like, okay. Yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, I didn't realize anybody else wanted that. Go ahead. And then they're like, what? You don't want to compete with me? Like, no. That's all you. What do we compete? I'll get something else. Like, what? Like, this is me. That's it. I'm good. So everything else is just here or there. And there's something everywhere. So it's just like, yeah, what's the need to compete? It's weird. It's very much a tactic of capitalism, right? Because in order to have a corporate ladder, you gotta have people wanting to climb it. How do you make people climb a ladder that doesn't go anywhere but doesn't fucking get any fucking lower? Right? You tell them someone else is gonna get to the top first, and they say, "Oh, no, they're not." Why, are you gonna do it? Well, yeah, I guess so. Is this what you want to do? Well, I don't know, but if they're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it first. Like, all right, you climb those ladders. You climb those ladders. Careful of the chutes, you know? I don't know. So, yep. I just want to be happy. Or will I ever be happy? Cry yourself to sleep. Shout and raise your hand. It won't change a thing, child, until you understand. If you're tired of being alone, if you're tired of being alone, then it's time for him to show you the way. Don't get stuck in how you feel. Let Jesus take the wheel. He knows the road that you need to take. If you want to be happy. Like, wow. So I go to the cemetery and I talk to Jesus about my gift of necromancy. And he's like, yes, my child, you get that from me. And I'm like, thank you, but also, God damn it. And he's like, yeah, no, I get it. That's why I'm hovering over this tomb. Sealed with a demon or some shit. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I said, I don't want to know. I'm going to leave there. Then I went and sat in the throne. Those pictures are pretty dope. Test shots, but still. Anyways, so much. So, it just feels like maybe this is a good time to write. Maybe it's not a good time to sleep. Maybe I probably should sleep. It's the responsible thing. But if I recall correctly, I do believe it's going to be a rainy day. I do think it's supposed to be just like raining today. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking though. Like, I don't know what time of day it is. I don't know what you're showering for. I'm thinking about writing for a little bit. I might even pop back over here in an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe
12 hours because I am going to stream tonight, y'all. But I just pop on a couple hours if I'm feeling it to draw a few morning cards. I might make a whole ass French press. I don't know. Maybe not go that crazy. I think I gotta crack a cold one with the boys, is what it really is. Either way, I'll be back tonight. I might be back in a couple hours. I might be asleep in 5 minutes. We really don't know. It's part of the joy of living unhinged. Part of going with the flow and riding with the wind. And like being and doing and becoming. No hinges, baby. No hinges. And that's really it. That's really it. So you fly off the handle, we fly with no hinges. Okay? I don't want to hear what you say about binges. I don't want to be someone with no binges. Because really, I think that we were all kin when this didn't exist. I don't know. I lost the rhyme. It's a hard word to rhyme with. I was like, it was good for a second, but it didn't go anywhere. I admit. But I liked it. I liked the concept, right? Yeah, like maybe I'm just. It's an Unhinged Friday. Remember when we used to do Unhinged Fridays every fucking Friday, and I would just stay up. Now I'm realizing why I started that, because then I got to the point a couple weeks in, I was like, girl, why are you trying to stay up? I'm so tired. We just streamed all night, blah, 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 blah. Now I remember why. It's this. So, okay, everyone. So long. I'll see you in a bit. I'll see you in a bit, or just like in tonight. We'll see what happens. It's time to write, and I wish you all very much luck. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I like really want to do some like 8 a.m. breakfast time draws. Like that is in me right now. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, daywalkers. I'm signing off for a little bit. We'll see how my night goes. Have an absolutely excellent and unhinged Friday. Thank fuck that it is. I love you all so much. Thank you for letting me do this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. If you want to watch this VOD, let me tell you, just don't. Okay? It was embarrassing. It was emotional. It was raw. It was regal. It was ridiculous. It had nothing to do with anything except for my period. So it's really on you. And that bitch didn't even start yet. It's not coming for another 6 days. So we are strapping in. Here for a good time. Maybe a long time. If so, wow, right? It's gonna be a good one. So look out for me in a little bit, and I love you all so much. But you already know I'm about to roll some ads on you. Yeah, I got to. Otherwise, I won't even come back over here, and I gotta just go get a snack, get a fucking pop, crack one open with Dr. I should probably put on a fucking Hawaiian shirt. Did y'all even see my shirt? I wore this for 420, and I didn't even tell you. It's pussy weed. Sorry, I don't know why the intensity. Hey, I thought we were wrapping it up, bringing it down. Da, 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 da. Okay, ready? Break. I love you all so much. I'll see you later. I'm rolling ads. Have a great day. damn, I try to do anything on Twitch and it's like, what? I did not ever mean to do subscriber only chat. That'd be so fucking weird. So I forgot that I was doing something on here before I signed off, and that was part of the reason that I stayed and chatted for like 30 minutes after, and I just like forgot what I was doing, and then I was like, oh shit, I need to do this before I end the stream. She said I can't do it anyways. Crazy. Why was I able... I don't want to... Okay, I accidentally deleted... I don't know, Mrs. Balloon Hands. I don't know if you're still there. I accidentally deleted one of your messages. And when I say accidentally, I will say it was completely intentional. And it was a test because I couldn't delete other messages, so it was just like of some stinky cheese, as it said. Sorry about that. Anyway, well, gonna have to call it. I might see y'all later. I'll definitely see you tonight. Okay. I love y'all so much. You may judge me. It's part of the conversation we had. Open to judgments. Y'all can judge me as much as you want, but at least get the facts straight before you do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mwah. Don't watch the replay and hope to see you see any tarot because I didn't do any today. So, good night, good luck, good morning, good fuck. I love you all so very much. It is a pleasure every time, no matter what. Have a good one. Thank you. See you later.